All right, we are all set up, ladies and gentlemen. We have Bad News Nate over on the left. That is the audio we are going to go with for this match. We have Wizard of Oz on the right. So let's hop on into it. In the last match, we had both racers without a card overview, which is what you see on Bad News Nate's screen on the right and on Wizard of Oz's screen near the left side of the screen. These counters are extremely useful for us, for the viewers of this restream, and for me as a commentator to see exactly what each racer has in their deck at all times. So it's very useful. We have both racers using it right now. So that's very good. So we can already see that Nate is ahead of Wizard of Oz currently with one equip. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz does not have any good equips. And as far as monsters go, Nate is also slightly ahead, I would say, with 5 dragons, 5 thunders. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz has 6 dragons, so one more than Nate, but only 3 thunders. And thunders are generally way more useful in 15 card mod races. They're a lot harder to get. Nate picking up a dragon zombie from Keith here. Both racers fighting Keith, it seems. Oz one double invisible wire, definitely very good for Wizard of Oz. The fact that he's going to be able to A-Tech immediately already.
Totally. We all know that's not going to happen. I'm tossing my entire hand on purpose. It's a spooky pumpkin. No. That's not a 1, is it? I very rarely see it played. It might be a 1. My Keith and Bakura drop it. Yeah, he's ready to A-Tech, but keep in mind that he's behind in progress. If I get a trap in the next duel, then I'll be ready to A-Tech, no questions asked.
Finishing up some small setups here.
Yamatano.
Nice, GSR. Nice.
I am going to save here.
So we're about to see one Nate won from Shoddy in campaign. Some good potential drops against Shoddy. Let's see if he picks up any of them.
Oh,
It's the La La Layoon. Nothing else, though. Oh, and it's his 4th La La Layoon. That hurts if you're Bad News Nate right now. But his deck is still definitely better currently than Wizard of Oz's. But keep in mind, Wizard of Oz does have 2 invisible wire, if I understand correctly, which means that he can already do A-Techs, which definitely does give him a bit of an advantage. But that advantage can definitely fizzle out extremely quickly. All Nate needs is one decent drop of a trap while he's moving to Pegasus, and that can already be that lead that Wizard of Oz has as far as A-Tech capability is concerned can be instantly quashed by Bad News Nate with a singular decent drop. So we'll see if that happens for him against Capura. If it does happen, he will have the option to A-Tech Pegasus in campaign. If it does not happen, that's not a big deal because he still can win a trap against Pegasus, Isis, or Kaiba. So this race is still very early, and it is still anybody's game for sure. Yo, what's up, Easyscape? You do smell gaming. You smell some damn good gaming going on right now.
Alright, I think this is where I just toss into just Black Dragon Jungle King. It's easier to draw Raigeki in this situation. Dark Hole would have been good too, but it's fine.
Hey, thanks, Easy. I really do appreciate that.
200 short.
I've really been enjoying commentating a lot of these matches. It's a lot of fun. Looks like Nate's having a little bit of trouble against Kapura here with that Millennium Shield being played. He was waiting to draw his equip, and he does draw it right there to make a 3,300. Now, keep in mind, Bakura does have 2 magics on his back row, which, even though Nate has that 3,300 out, those can definitely cause him some trouble, as they do right there with Bakura having a reverse trap out, which means Nate's only equip, his only way of overpowering a Millennium Shield, instantly not only taken away from him, but also reversed back onto him, making what would have been a 3,300 twin-headed Thunder Dragon a 2,300, but Nate drawing the Raigeki anyways to completely wipe out Bakura's side of the field, and I'm 99% sure, yes, he does. He has enough damage to end this duel immediately after that Raigeki, which is very good for Nate because you don't want to give Bakura enough time to play magics against you. If you give Bakura the chance to play magics, he will almost always take it, and the duel can just last forever.
Alright, I'm worthy of getting an Inviswire here. If I don't get Invisible Wire, it's pretty tough to go from
now. Nate is talking about winning an Invisible Wire here, which is a possibility on BCD POW Kapura, or BCD Tech Kapura even. If he did win an Invisible Wire, that's definitely going to be extremely good for him, because he will be able to ATAC during this upcoming Pegasus duel if he so chooses. Even if he doesn't, he can at least ATAC in free duel. Let's see if he won it here. He does not win the Invisible Wire, and keep in mind, Wizard of Oz does have 2 of them, which means not only is Wizard of Oz going to be able to do ATACs, but he's going to be able to do consistent ATACs, thanks to having not 1 but 2 traps already. Because with just 1 trap, you risk not drawing it until it's the final card in your deck. And if your trap is the last card in your deck, you're not going to be able to activate the trap, which is a requirement for getting the ATAC rank. But if you do have 2 traps in your deck, that issue is completely removed, and you are guaranteed an ATAC almost every time. And if you ever don't get an ATAC, it at least won't be not drawing your trap that does it. You don't get Widespread Ruin on Pegasus,
Alright,
you
if I
get
see
Acid
some
Trap
form
Hole on
of twin-headed
Pegasus.
Thunder Dragon fusion, I can 3-turn this guy.
Pegasus drops Acid Trap Hole, Isis drops Widespread Ruin, and Kaiba drops Acid Trap Hole.
I'll be safe with it. I can't 3-turn, but this is okay. Yo, Sarah, how's it going? I'm gonna go.
Any of those traps will be exactly what you need in order to do ATEX. So in order to do ATEX, there are a bunch of traps that you could potentially win during campaign. Bear Trap is one of them. Bear Trap's a little bit more difficult to use than the others, but it's still a better than nothing. It's still a solid choice if it's all you have to do some ATEX. Then there is Invisible Wire, which is a trap card that will destroy any attacking monster with 2,000 attack or lower, which is well enough to do ATEX on Pegasus. Acid Trap is 3,000 or lower, and Widespread Ruin is any attack amount will be destroyed. Obviously, Widespread Ruin is the card that you want to have because Widespread Ruin is useful in the late game. Meanwhile, the remaining cards are not useful in the late game, most likely will not be in either of these racers' decks once they reach the final 6. But winning them is still good just for... Ooh, Nate with the Dragon Treasure in campaign against Pegasus and an Umi.
We take those.
This is looking very good for Bad News Nate so far. He already has 2 equips. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz has 0 equips still, so that means that BadNewsNate is already 2 equips ahead of Wizard of Oz before ATEX even begin. Keep in mind, Wizard of Oz does have the traps to already do ATEX, but those ATEX are where you win equips, and Nate already has 2 of them. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz has none. So Nate is already ahead in something that is typically the result of ATEX. So definitely looking good for Nate right now. All he needs is a trap to secure the gap that he's placed between him and Wizard of Oz. Nate definitely has a little bit of a cushion now. Even though Wizard of Oz does have those traps and can A-Tech, even a decent A-Tech, if Wizard of Oz wins 2 equips, which would be considered a good A-Tech, that's only going to put him even to BadNewsNate, not ahead. So it looks like Wizard of Oz is building his A-Tech deck right now, which means he will be doing an A-Tech against Pegasus in campaign. Which means Wizard of Oz, in this single duel that he is about to do, can not only close the gap between him and BadNewsNate, but can open up a new gap with Wizard of Oz on top. A single A-Tech in this race can mean the difference between winning or losing in the end game. A single A-Tech can literally make your end game deck in one duel if you get extremely good luck. A single A-Tech can change the course of an entire match. So we will see what happens here for Wizard of Oz. Meanwhile, BadNewsNate finishing up his duel against Isis and is going to move on in the campaign. Keep in mind, Isis can drop plenty of good stuff. Dragon Treasure, Widespread Ruin, Umi, and plenty of dragons. Nate would be happy to see any of those right now. Especially the Widespread Ruin. I think Widespread Ruin drop on Isis would be Nate's preferred drop right now. Definitely even more preferred than a Dragon Treasure drop, because winning that Widespread Ruin is going to mean that Nate can do A-Tex just like Wizard of Oz can. Not to mention he already has that 2-equip lead, which is already helping his case. So if Nate sees a Widespread Ruin on the following screen, that's going to be extremely good for him. Oh, an Elf Slight. That hurts. So Nate does win an equip, but it's not the equip that you want. It's an Elf Slight. It could have been a Dragon Treasure, but it was unfortunately an Elf Slight. And Wizard of Oz getting some very bad Pegasus luck and losing to Pegasus in campaign. Definitely not what you want if you're Wizard of Oz. This just gives Nate some more time to finish up the World Tournament, potentially win a trap, and continue building the gap that's already between him and Wizard of Oz. Yeah, Pegasus seemed quite happy to take a win against Wizard of Oz here, but unfortunately for Pegasus, Wizard of Oz has unlimited attempts here and only has to win once.
I figured it's a wall.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz is definitely behind in most regards. The only thing to keep in mind is the fact that Wizard of Oz has the capacity to A-Tech, whereas BadNewsNate does not have that capacity right now. But with a 2-equipped lead, I think that more than covers for the fact that Nate does not have a trap yet. Traps aren't that difficult to get in 15-card mod. You can get them extremely quickly. And already having a 2-equip lead just increases the chances that Nate's only going to have to do 1 or 2 A-Techs to have an end game deck ready. So Nate having a little bit of trouble against Kaiba in this duel right now. But he does have a 3300 out, which is going to allow him to kill that that wall that's played against him. Not killing it just yet. He wants to be able to wipe out Kaiba's side of the field, because if once he kills that labyrinth wall, if there's any monsters remaining on Kaiba's side of the field, then Nate can expect to get crush carded and all of his monsters removed from the field on the next turn, which Nate does not want. Now on this turn, he's most likely going to use his twin-headed to kill that parrot dragon. Okay, oh, there is a magic face down as well, which means Nate's going to have to keep that wall alive most likely for the remainder of the duel. Keep in mind that face down could be a crush card, and God forbid it is a crush card. If Nate was to wipe out Kaiba's monsters right now, that would mean that Kaiba is no longer magic locked, and that means that that face down magic could be flipped. And God forbid that face down magic was flipped and ended up being a crush card. That would mean that every monster that Nate has out right now would be destroyed, and that is definitely not what you want if you're Nate. So Nate is going to take this duel slow but safe by continuing to play some weaker monsters and doing enough direct damage until he can win in a single turn, and he might have just that right now. No, I don't think he actually has it just yet. He might have the damage right now. Wizard of Oz losing again to Pegasus. That's extremely bad for Wizard of Oz, just giving BadNewsNate more time to, to move on in the campaign and make an even better deck than what Oz has currently. Keep in mind, BadNewsNate already having a better deck than Wizard of Oz. And Wizard of Oz taking these losses just gives him more and more time to continue building that gap. Nate, with that Regeki draw, means that this duel against Kaiba is over. Now keep in mind, all those monsters being removed from Kaiba's side of the field means that on the next turn, Kaiba could crush card BadNewsNate, but with that Regeki and all the monsters Nate has out, it does not matter because he can win before that becomes an issue. So now, Nate is going to check his drops before this Mage Soldier duel, and what Nate really, really, really wants to see is that Acid Trap Hole.
Is providing commentary for my stream and Oz's
Aw,
stream. So if you guys want
Nate's
to check
giving
it
me a
out,
shout out.
I highly would recommend it if you could.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate you. So yeah, there's a couple good cards that Nate could have just won from Kaiba. We'll know in a little bit. Kaiba drops plenty of dragons on the rank that Nate got. But what Nate really wants to see here is an Acid Trap Hole so that he can do Atex, just like Wizard of Oz is attempting for the third time on Pegasus right now. An Acid Trap Hole drop would solidify Nate's lead right now and would mean that he can start Atexing immediately. But some other good cards, like I said, are any dragon, because keep in mind Kaiba has a very high chance to drop dragons, which is going to help buff up Nate's deck a bit. And he can also drop Dragon Capture Jar, which is an invaluable card later on in the run when you're trying to get rid of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. You want that Dragon Capture Jar to do it. Let's see, he does win the Dragon Capture Jar. That is going to be huge for Nate, but unfortunately he wins the wrong trap, and two of them nonetheless. Two Goblin Fan, a trap that cannot be used to do Atex, but while the game decides to fuck him in one breath, the game also decides to use lube and lighten the blow a little bit by giving him the Dragon Capture Jar as a consolation prize, which I am sure Nate will more than happily take. Now, what Nate does after this duel, there's a couple different things that he can do, but the best move for BadNewsNate, once he is done with this Mage Soldier duel, Nate wants to win a trap right now. Nate definitely does want to win a trap so he can do Atex. Now, he has a couple different options. He could go to Isis for Widespread Ruin, he could go to Pegasus for Acid Trap Hole, or he could go to Kaiba for Acid Trap Hole. The best option for Nate right now is going to be Pegasus, BCD ranks. And the reason for that is because he will have double the chance for Widespread than you would have on Isis. But you also have a chance to win Dragon Treasure as well. So not only will Nate be farming to win the trap that he needs in order to do Atex to win even more equips, but he also has a chance to win an equip while he's doing that farm. So Pegasus BCDs are most likely going to be Nate's next move here, because it is undoubtedly the best move to make. Now, if Nate does not win a trap quickly, and he really just wants to get a trap and he doesn't care about anything else, he might choose to go to Kaiba BCDs in order to get the trap. Instead, Kaiba does have a higher chance to drop that acid trap hole than Pegasus does, but he does not have the chance to drop any useful equips like Pegasus does. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. Higher chance for the trap, but no chance for the equip. Pegasus does a great job of balancing that out, which, while he does have a lower chance to drop the trap that Nate needs, it's still a relatively high chance, and he also has the chance to win the Dragon Treasure, which is why Pegasus BCD Pals is most likely what Nate is about to do right now.
Way behind, but again, he could catch up at any point in time in this race. So I'm not letting off the gas pedal. Yeah, he's A-teching. Which is why if he gets a Megamorph for 2, then he'll be way ahead.
Yeah, Nate is right. Wizard of Oz might be very far behind as far as campaign progression goes, only on Pegasus in the World Tournament right now. But keep in mind, he's doing an A-tech against Pegasus, which means when Wizard of Oz is done with this duel, the lead that Nate has as far as deck strength goes could be completely crushed and reversed if he gets good enough luck. But Nate having those 2 equips definitely gives him a little bit of a cushion as far as that's concerned, because even if Wizard of Oz picks up 2 Bright Castles or something, Nate is still going to be in the lead as far as progression, and those 2 Bright Castles are only going to put Wizard of Oz equal to BadNewsNate's deck strength.
Very nicely done.
So let's see where Nate goes. I think it's going to be Pegasus. Yes, he does decide to go to Pegasus. Like I said, Dark Energy and campaign for Nate! That is huge for BadNewsNate, ladies and gentlemen. He now has a 3 equip lead over Wizard of Oz. That is a huge lead to have before even beginning A-techs. Wizard of Oz will now need significantly better A-tech luck on the A-tech he's doing just to be equal with BadNewsNate. All of the odds are pointing to Wizard of Oz not being even equal to BadNewsNate's deck strength after this A-tech, even if he gets decent luck. And Nate already starting the farm on Pegasus means that he's going to have a trap in no time, maybe even a 4th equip if he gets lucky by the time he gets that trap. And then Nate will be starting A-techs just like Wizard of Oz is doing now, and his deck will get drastically, exponentially better much more quickly than Wizard of Oz's will, because Wizard of Oz still has to go through the rest of the World Tournament. Nate has a little bit of a lead in that, while Wizard of Oz is trying to finish up all of the duels that BadNewsNate has already done. Nate will be making his deck better, widening the gap even further. Here comes the end of the A-tech for Wizard of Oz. This is a big moment for his run. Okay, we know that the first drop of that A-tech was not good, but keep in mind there are 14 other drops, all of which could be Megamorphs, Bright Castles, Dragon Treasures, Widespread Ruins. We're not sure what he got, but right at this very moment, Wizard of Oz could be far ahead of BadNewsNate in terms of deck strength and equip count. We're about to find out right now. Let's see what Wizard of Oz got. Wizard of Oz wins a Megamorph, which is extremely good for Wizard of Oz. He also wins an Acid Trap Hole and a Dragon Capture Jar. The only thing that's really going to matter for the most part from there, though, is that Megamorph. But I would still say that Nate has a nice, tasty lead, right? And another Dragon Treasure for BadNewsNate! Another Dragon Treasure for BadNewsNate. BadNewsNate might not even have to do A-techs, ladies and gentlemen. He already has 4 equips without even having the capabilities of doing A-techs. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz winning that Megamorph, that's going to help him significantly. But with Nate, he continues to pull ahead as far as deck strength goes. With 4 regular equips versus Wizard of Oz singular Megamorph, Nate's deck is still better by a wide margin. He does not win the Acid Trap Hole, unfortunately, which means Nate cannot do A-techs yet unless I miss something. Unless he did win the acid trap and I just didn't see it, but I do not think so. So Nate winning that dragon treasure means that his deck is even better now than Wizard of Oz's. But remember, Nate just doesn't have that trap that he needs right now. Nate really needs that trap so he can do Atex in order to keep up with the Megamorph that Wizard of Oz already has. But I can confidently say that Bad News Nate's deck is significantly better than Wizard of Oz's deck. And keep in mind, Wizard of Oz, now that he's done with that one Pegasus Attack, now he has to go through all of the duels that Nate is already done with. Wizard of Oz has to fight Isis. Wizard of Oz has to fight Kaiba. Wizard of Oz has to fight Mage Soldier. And sit through some cutscenes as well, just to get to where Bad News Nate is right now. And in all that time doing those duels and sitting through those cutscenes, it's very possible that Bad News Nate will already have the trap and be in an ATEC, which will be huge for Bad News Nate. Now remember, Nate already has 4 equips, which means all Nate needs to move on and be done with Farm 2 is really one more equip or a Megamorph to push it even further. If Bad News Nate wins Acid Trap Hole quickly and then picks up a Megamorph on within the first 2 Atex, then Nate is already ready to move on. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz isn't even on Farm 2 yet. This is looking very good for Bad News Nate. He just needs that trap, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if he gets it. He needs that Acid Trap Hole very bad. He gets the Acid Trap Hole! Nate with the Acid Trap Hole win means that he can start doing Atex before Wizard of Oz is, and he gets 2 of them! 2 Acid Trap Holes not only means that Nate has the ability to do Atex, but he also has the ability to do consistent Atex. Nate is going to start doing his Pegasus Atex. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is still on Isis in the campaign. Nate with a 3 equip lead over Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz does have that Megamorph, but Nate has 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 regular equips, and he didn't even need to Atec to do them, but now that he has 2 traps, he's going to be Atecing, and he's going to be increasing that equip counter even more, and if he's lucky, increasing that Megamorph counter, which will not only put him equal to Wizard of Oz's Megamorph counter, but is going to push his deck into the stratosphere. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz's deck stays on the ground.
Inconsistent? Okay. That's all I needed to know. Once I win at least 1 Megamorph, I think I'm just gonna move on.
Nate just said exactly what I think we were all thinking. The moment Bad News Nate wins a Megamorph, his Farm 2 is over, ladies and gentlemen. It is very possible that Bad News Nate could be completely done farming. Bad News Nate could be completely done with his second farm phase and moving on to try to beat the deck as quickly as possible before Wizard of Oz is even done with the World Tournament. Now, Wizard of Oz winning a Dragon Treasure in campaign. That's going to be big for Wizard of Oz, trying to keep up with Bad News Nate's deck power, trying to keep up with the gap that Nate is building between him and Wizard of Oz. But will it be enough, ladies and gentlemen? Nate using that trap in his ATEC, which means this ATEC's already looking very good. It's just a matter of time until Bad News Nate is done with this ATEC. And God forbid he wins a Megamorph on this ATEC. That would be Wizard of Oz's worst nightmare. Because Bad News Nate winning a Megamorph on this ATEC means that he could be completely done with farming before Wizard of Oz even starts. Very good, very, very good luck for Bad News Nate right now. He is considerably ahead of Wizard of Oz right now, but at least that Dragon Treasure drop for Wizard of Oz is keeping him in this. A Wizard won a Lalalayun and didn't put it in? Yeah, he must have just not noticed it then. So he has 5 Thunders then, which means Wizard of Oz and Nate both having a pretty good Dragon and Thunder count, but Nate's is still stronger. So Nate's deck is stronger on Dragons and Thunders, stronger as far as equips go. Now keep in mind, Wizard of Oz does have that Megamorph that Nate does not, but Nate has a little bit of time to do some Atex before Wizard of Oz can get back to Pegasus to do more Atex. Very good position for Nate right now.
We need Regeki or Umi to show up here in the next couple turns.
Yeah, keep in mind, Nate can absolutely win without a Megamorph. While Megamorph is extremely useful, it's by no mean a requirement to beat the game. If Nate was to win 1 or 2 Bright Castles from this A-Tech, he could also just move on with a deck that is extremely good and not have much trouble. Winning some Widespread Ruins would make things even better. If Nate was to win a Bright Castle and 2 or 3 Widespread Ruin from this duel, if I were Nate, I would just move on at that point. 5 equips and 2 widespread is plenty enough to beat the game. Nate might not even need to rely on the power of Megamorph in order to win this, because he's gotten such insane campaign drops. Coming out of campaign with not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 4 equips out of campaign. Just some insanity for Nate. Now, I don't know if Nate started with that Beast Fangs or if he won it. I'm not entirely sure, but if he won it, that would mean that Nate won all 4 of his equips in campaign, which is virtually unheard of.
That's 4.
We do know that he got 2 Dragon Treasures and 1 Dark Energy in campaign. I'm just not sure where that Beast Fangs came from. He may have started with it in his deck, or he may have won it.
That'll do. Here we go.
Alright, Nate finishing up his first A-Tech. Let's see what happens. If Nate gets good luck here, it's looking bad for Wizard of Oz. Let's see. The first drop was not good, but we don't know what the other 14 are. Could be anything. Nate going to check, because he might move on after this. Nothing good there. He needs to scroll down. Megamorph! Nate wins Megamorph on the first A-Tech, just like Wizard of Oz. Ladies and gentlemen, Bad News Nate is finished farming. Bad News Nate is now going to make a beeline for the end of the game. Bad News Nate has set his sights on Nightmare before Wizard of Oz is even on his Farm 2 split. This is absolutely incredible for Bad News Nate. It is exactly what he wants to see. Not only does he get that Megamorph in the first A-Tech, ladies and gentlemen, but he also gets 4 equips in campaign, which means Nate's deck is well enough to beat the game. Nate saying, I'm done with Farm 2. Good luck whenever you start your Farm 2, Wizard of Oz. But you haven't started your Farm 2, and I've already completed mine. Nate with an enormous lead over Wizard of Oz. Moving on, getting some more distance between him and Wizard of Oz in the campaign progression. And that distance that he puts between him and Wizard of Oz by beating mages while Wizard of Oz is still farming is going to be huge for Nate. By the time Wizard of Oz is done crafting his deck in the Farm 2 phase, Nate could potentially be done with the mages and already working on the final 6. Every mage that Nate beats right now is just pure time that he's saving over Wizard of Oz. Even if Wizard of Oz was to win 3 Megamorphs in a single duel, Nate could still be more than 20 minutes ahead of Wizard of Oz, because no matter how good your deck is, you still have to go through all of the mages. No matter how good your deck is, you still need to go through the campaign, and Nate will already be done with that campaign by the time Wizard of Oz gets the luck that he needs to build his deck. Now keep in mind, anything can happen. Once Wizard of Oz is done with Mage Soldier, he could do a single A-Tech and have a deck that is also ready to move on. Meanwhile, Nate will only be on his 2nd or maybe 3rd mage by that time. And if that happens, while Nate will have a campaign progression lead, Wizard of Oz will still be hot on his heels. But it is imperative for Wizard of Oz to get good A-Tech luck and get it fast. Wizard of Oz absolutely, positively must win something good in the first 2 A-Techs, or else it is looking very bad for Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz absolutely needs to have a finished, ready-to-go deck within the first 3 or 4 A-Techs, or else Nate is going to have such a huge lead that he can lose a couple times on the final 6 and he'll still be ahead of Wizard of Oz. Definitely not where you want to be if you're Wizard of Oz right now, and Nate could not ask for better luck than what he's seen in this race so far. First A-Tech Megamorph and 4 equips won during the campaign. Not to mention 2 acid trap holes, 1 on, I think, the first or second Pegasus duel. This is exactly what you want to happen if you're Nate. This is exactly what some of the greatest runs of this game look like, ladies and gentlemen. Whoo boy, Nate is having one hell of a run right now, and this is exactly where he needs it. Keep in mind, this is round 3 in the tournament. This is the latest match in the tournament that we have seen so far. No other 2 people are as far into the tournament as Nate and Wizard of Oz are right now. And if Nate manages to take this win, it's going to be looking very good for him. Nate being a fan favorite to win this entire tournament. Many people put him at the in the winner's circle for their predictions, me included. And it's looking good for him in this match so far. Wizard of Oz winning a Dark Energy and campaign, keeping his deck on the heels of Bad News Nate. Wizard of Oz refusing to let Nate get any huge amount of distance between him as far as deck strength goes. Wizard of Oz now with 2 regular equips and 1 Megamorph, which is only 2 regular equips behind Nate. Wizard of Oz, like I said, he's just keeping on Nate's heels right now. All it's going to take is 1 decent, not even amazing, but decent A-Tech for Wizard of Oz to be right where Nate is as far as deck strength goes.
Blackland's okay. That's about it. Alright, it's good enough.
Keep in mind where Wizard of Oz's deck is right now, he very well could just move on, and I think that might be what's on his mind right now. I think Wizard of Oz sees that Nate already has a very good deck and is blowing through the campaign. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is farming, and I don't think he likes that. So I think what Wizard of Oz is doing right now is he's just making a Hail Mary to get some Thunders in his deck, and then I think Wizard of Oz is just going to move on. I don't think Wizard of Oz is going to do any more A-Techs. I don't think Wizard of Oz is going to do any more farm duels. I think all Wizard of Oz wants right at this moment is to win some Thunders and start the campaign. His deck is already good enough to beat the game. It's not as good as Nate's, but at this point, Wizard of Oz has to start throwing Hail Marys if he wants to stay on Nate's heels. Wizard of Oz unlocking Villager 2 in order to get those Thunders, and I have a good feeling that he's going to go right to Villager 2, try to win Thunders, and then screw A-Techs. He's just going to move on. That's what I think he might do. That is not what he's going to do. Wizard of Oz says, no, my deck is not good enough. I need to continue farming and get a better equip set, and that is what Wizard of Oz is going to do, building an A-Tech deck right now. Wizard of Oz is going to do some A-Techs, try to get a better equip deck. Meanwhile, Bad News Nate is continuing through the campaign, having a lot of trouble on Kapur right now, though. Nate is having a ton of trouble against High Meadow Mage right now. He needs to draw something that will kill everything for the most part on this turn. He does not get what he needs. He needed a dragon draw there, and he did not get it. Nate needs a full fake out, or else some of the time that he just gained against Wizard of Oz is down the shitter, ladies and gentlemen. He survives. Nate only has to draw that dragon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if he gets it. No, he does not get it. Nate has to go for another fake out against High Meadow Mage. Will he get it? Will there still be hope for all of this time to not be in vain? And there is. He needs that dragon. He doesn't get it, though, but he does at least have 2 cards out now to fake out with.
I'm still alive, dude.
Yeah, Nate surviving for another turn. He just needs that dragon. If he loses his duel, he gets the dragon! Nate can win this duel. That is insanity! Nate really wanted to see that draw, because if he does take a loss in this duel, then that is a good chunk of time that he used to have over Wizard of Oz that he's going to lose. But if he wins this duel, then all of the time he spent doing this duel and the last one will not be in vain.
I need right Geki.
He does need Raigeki very badly.
Suicide glitch.
There's the suicide glitch coming in.
Glitch.
Kapura saying, I don't want my Gate Guardians anymore. I'm gonna get rid of them now. Suiciding his Gate Guardians. But Nate really, really needs that Raigeki right now. He doesn't get it. This could be trouble for Nate. If that face down... If that face down is not some sort of 2800 or higher monster or defender, then Nate could potentially be in some trouble here, and magics can begin to be spammed against him. Let's see what happens.
It's not over, though.
It's a face down. That's good for Nate.
That's Beast Skull. I know that.
Okay, so Nate needs to keep that Beast Skull. Oh, yeah, there was a Beast Skull. And there's the Raigeki. Nate has the win.
There it is.
Ooh, he doesn't have the win immediately, though.
Next turn, I Raigeki. And
Yes, that is definitely the best move. Put a 4800 out. Get rid of that. Keep the Black Skull alive so that he is magic locked. Raigeki next turn and win in one singular hit before Kapura has a chance to do any type of shenanigans. And there is the Raigeki and the win for BadNewsNate, meaning he has one mage. Keep in mind, the hardest mage down. All the while, Wizard of Oz is 2 equips behind and is in the middle of an A-Tech. Very good for BadNewsNate right now.
That is a crazy Kepra duel. What the hell? That needs to be highlighted. One dragon, 2 dragons. Those will go in.
Wonder if he'll get some thunder action at Mountain and Ocean. That's definitely what you're hoping if you're Nate. Nate's thunder count is good, but I wouldn't call it a comfortable thunder count. Getting more thunders would help Nate's deck for sure. So if I were Nate, I would definitely be hoping that I can win a couple more thunders before I move on to the final 6. Keep in mind, his thunder count is enough, but it's not comfortable yet. So if Nate wins another thunder or 2, that's going to be really big for his deck in general. All those equips and that Megamorph is great and all, but if you don't have the Twin-Headed to put them all on, then they don't really mean too much. But Nate's deck is still looking totally fine as far as Dragons and Thunders go, but some more Thunders would definitely make him more comfortable.
Probably once I get through 3 mages, I'll check my start chips once again. And I will buy probably, let's say, Kaminari Kozu. That's one card I haven't seen yet.
Good idea by Nate there. Now keep in mind, Nate could have just won a Meteor B Dragon, but the odds are so incredibly low that it almost never happens, but it could be there, ladies and gents. Kaminari attack! We were just talking about how good it would be if Nate could pick up some Thunders, and then immediately after that conversation ends, he wins one of the best Thunders you could potentially win right there. A Kaminari attack, not just a Thunder, but a 1600 plus attack Thunder, meaning that you can just slap that on a small dragon and it will make a Twin-Headed. Just like you could slap a Crawling Dragon number 2 onto a small Thunder and get a Twin-Headed. So that is very good for Nate to see. That's probably one of the better cards he could have seen there.
That's Dragon Champion, I believe. No, it's Harpy's Pet Dragon.
Ooh, that was not that good for Wizard of Oz. He did win a Dragon Treasure from that A-Tech, but that's all he won from his first A-Tech, Wizard of Oz there. So while that was good, it isn't exactly what Wizard of Oz was hoping for. I think he was definitely hoping for a little bit more than that. But it looks like he's done A-teching now. It looks like Wizard of Oz is saying, you know what? Nate is already on his second mage with a deck that is better than mine. I'm close to his deck. My deck may not be as good as his, but you know what? I need to get my ass moving. And that is exactly what Wizard of Oz is doing right now. He's building a deck, and he is going to move on from Farm 2. His deck may not be as good as Nate's, but he doesn't have much of a choice right now. Think of it as almost a Hail Mary by Wizard of Oz. But generally, his deck is still extremely good. Keep in mind, Wizard of Oz's deck might not be as good as Nate's, but it's still extremely good. Wizard of Oz actually doing a farm duel. I didn't see who he clicked on. I'm assuming it would be Villager 2 to win Thunders because he needs them right now. Villager 2? Okay. It was Villager 2. So yeah, right now, Wizard of Oz says, you know what? I'm done doing Atex. I have enough equips to beat the game. All I need now are Thunders. Yeah, Wizard of Oz is very behind in Thunders. He really is going to need to win some if he wants to be able to have a deck that can do what Nate's deck is doing right now.
I'm gonna take out an Umi though.
Nate not only has a better deck when it comes to magics, but he also has a better deck when it comes to monsters too. With 7 Thunders as opposed to Wizard of Oz's 4, what I actually believe to be 5 because GCA said that Wizard of Oz actually won a Thunder and didn't notice it at some point. So Wizard of Oz finished with his farm for the most part, just needs to pick up a Thunder or 2 and then he will be comfortable moving on. Meanwhile, Nate is continuing to put the distance between him and Wizard of Oz in the campaign. 2 mages already down. Definitely sweating if you're Wizard of Oz right now.
Does Octoburster take any of these equips? I want to find out. Does not.
Sad. This game is stupid.
I was just curious.
If this game was smart, then that would have worked.
You don't see that too often.
Oh my god, Wizard of Oz winning 4 Thunders in a single Villager 2 duel. That is what you want to see right there if you're Wizard of Oz. With 4 Thunders in a single Villager 2 duel, that means that Wizard of Oz is done farming, and he is happy about it. Wizard of Oz now with better monsters than BadNewsNate went from having a worse monster deck to a better monster deck than BadNewsNate.
Only 2 equips. Yeah,
Which means that Wizard of Oz and Nate's decks are just about equal. The only thing that BadNewsNate has over Wizard of Oz is 1 extra equip. Everything else is exactly the same for the most part. But BadNewsNate is 2 mages ahead of Wizard of Oz. So Wizard of Oz starting mages now. The only lead that Nate has for the most part is in campaign progression. This is an extremely close race right now. I can confidently say right now that this race is anybody's game, ladies and gentlemen. It would not surprise me to see either of these racers win.
Hey, nice. I got a Thunder and a Dragon. I got nothing else, though. That's fine. That's a big oof. You know what? I'll toss both. Why not? Yeah, he's on High Ocean. I'm on High Ocean as well, but this is my 3rd mage. Also, this could be an APOW. Again. I did not fuse until turn 2. And no equips. I'm doing final 6, maybe? I don't know. Should I do final 6 or final 7? That's the question. You know what? I got time. I'll do 6. Nothing. Okay. $30 on the dot. Alright, fine. You know what? I will do final 6. I'm gonna save, though, before I go.
Nate deciding to use up his small lead right now to do Seto second in final 6. This is most likely a good move for Nate. I think that this is a very smart move for Nate going for final 6 here. Nate recognizes that he has a 2-mage lead over Wizard of Oz in campaign progression right now. Nate is opting to use some of that time in order to make his endgame more consistent. Now, it's unclear whether or not Wizard of Oz is going to let that stand. I'm not sure if Wizard of Oz is going to do final 7 or final 6, but we should find out soon. Now, if Wizard of Oz does final 7, he will gain a little bit of the time loss back from Nate doing Seto second, but if both of them lose their first attempt at the endgame, that's going to put Nate at a huge advantage.
Come on.
If I was Wizard of Oz right now, I would definitely do final 6.
Alright, I'm gonna keep the Kaminari attack because I feel it's important.
Nate's doing final 6 too, so it's not like you're going to lose any time over Nate by doing final 6 as opposed to 7. He does have the opportunity to save a little bit of time now, but I just don't think saving a tiny bit of time over Nate is that important unless he was sure he would beat the game quickly, and with his deck, that is absolutely not the case.
Fine, I'll Umi.
Now, if Wizard of Oz had a much, much, much better deck, then I could definitely see him doing Final 7 right now, but he doesn't. I think it's almost certain that Wizard of Oz is going to take a loss at some point in the end game, and if he's in Final 7 while Nate's at Final 6, then that's just not going to be good for Wizard of Oz. Nate's going to get through his attempts much faster. If I were Oz, I would go for Final 6, but we will see what he does.
I lose.
Oh shit, Nate losing against Labyrinth Mage, giving Wizard of Oz more of a chance to catch up. Not good for Nate. Good for Wizard of Oz, though. Not the biggest deal in the world for Nate, but definitely not what you want to see.
That's twice I've gotten screwed over with reverse trap. Am I sure I want to do final 6 again? Oh, whatever. I'll do it. I'm just gonna take out Flame Ghost this time. Like I said, I saved beforehand, so we're okay. We're still fine. go through this phase again. Oh, not again. Here we go again.
Nate getting Gate Guardian again. Not good for him. Losing once against Labyrinth Mage for Nate. It wasn't the biggest deal in the world, but if he takes a second loss, then this is not the best situation for Nate to be in. Wizard of Oz catching up.
Or Dragon Megamorph. Don't play reverse trap again. Umi's always the right play on this guy. Okay, cool. Alright, this time we have a fighting chance. Deja vu. Hence the initial D music.
Yeah, luckily Nate does win this duel no matter what now.
Right, we Gucci. We Gucci boys.
We Gucci boys, ladies and gentlemen. You missed the portal? Yeah, sorry you missed the portal. I didn't play it for too long. I only played for about an hour, and then I got to commentating. But there will definitely be more portals soon.
That's the last thing I need on my mind, though. That's Stone D. Okay.
I'm just eating some chips right now. I'm not eating any actual meal yet. But I don't want to be crunching into the mic.
I'm just going to kill the lab wall, and I'm going to kill Gate Guardian. You know what? I want to see if that's another reverse trap. So, you know what? Scale God with Beast Fangs. If not, I'll attack with this anyways. Let's see what that face down is. That's a acid trap hole, probably. Yep. Good call. Alright. We don't need an APAL on this guy. We could just win Thunders off of him on BCD.
So it looks like Wizard of Oz is fighting a low Metal Mage right now. So this could potentially be a big moment for him. If Wizard of Oz manages to get some extremely good luck here and wins Meteor B Dragon and Campaign, then that is definitely going to make Nate sweat quite a bit more.
This is a little bit Monka-esque. If Wizard of Oz wins MBD here, that could be big trouble. Dragon Zombie and Labyrinth Wall. That's about it. I'm gonna take out Snake Yashi for Dragon Zombie. Also Octoburster for Water Element. Alright, here we go.
So Wizard of Oz not winning the MBD, but he does pick up a Dark Magician, which is going to be nice for him at the very least. Not as nice as MBD, but still good. But definitely not worth moving back on.
Alright, it puts me at 13-7 as far as the Dragon and the Thunder count. What does he play? Wall Shadow.
Wall Shadow start on Seto second, and Nate draws exactly what he needs. Bad news, Nate wins against Seto second, ladies and gents.
Dark Magician and Curse the Dragon. Okay. No, I can't APAL. Because I used an equip and I fused. And I'm gonna be under 28 cards on the next turn. That's a twin-headed at least. Oh, baby, we in there.
Yeah, Wilkins, that's something that you could definitely come to expect from Nate. Nate is a very good player.
I think he did Meadow, that's why.
Can't Seto play Crush
Meadow
Card?
has good
I
chances of
believe
dropping
he
tier 2
can.
dragons,
I
and
know he can also play Regeki, but that's
he
not
mostly
going to
just
happen
does
for
farming
Nate.
with Pegasus.
They can't play those cards unless they have monsters on their side of the field. So as soon as Nate had a monster out that could kill a Gate Guardian, and Seto second had no monsters on his side of the field, that means that he wins no matter what.
Yeah, I know he does. Curse of Dragons, good.
So Nate and Wizard of Oz just moving right along in the campaign here. Let's see what Wizard of Oz does. Will he do Seto second right now?
We all know
He's definitely going to save right now, but will he do Seto second? He has the split for it, but will he be skipping that split? We're about to find out. See what he does right now.
Oh, what the
He is doing Seto second. Okay, that is a good move, in my opinion, by Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz is indeed doing Final Six. Means that Nate is about one shrine ahead currently of Wizard of Oz. All Wizard of Oz has to do is Labyrinth Mage and Seto second. That's exactly the lead that Nate has. The time it takes to do those two duels for Wizard of Oz. Now, if Wizard of Oz takes any losses, that's going to continue pushing Bad News Nate further ahead of Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz with an interesting draw against Labyrinth Mage opts to play the Umi. If there's a Gate Guardian played, this could be some bad news for Wizard of Oz. Let's see. It is not a Gate Guardian, which means Wizard of Oz almost certainly has the win against Labyrinth Mage and will be moving on to Seto second.
Alright, that's done. Time for Odysseus. Nothing useful. Here we go. Hope for the best. No bully, please. Ooh, that's a good draw.
Very, very, very good draw for Bad News Nate right there against Anubisius.
Please, any dragon, and don't play Pogum. No bully, please. Oh, that hurts.
Will Nate opt to use the Regeki right now or wait one more turn? He's going to opt to wait one more turn. I think that's the right move there.
See if that's an equip. It's not. Okay.
And Nate drawing, one card drawing the exact card that he needed, another equip, to overpower the perfectly ultimate Great Moth, so Nate has the win here against Anubisius.
Get wrecked. Another Pugum.
Good thing he chose not to use that Regeki then when he did. If he didn't draw that equip, he would be in some big trouble.
The one time he double Pugums, we outsmarted him and outplayed him. I thought he was going to pull a triple for a minute. Alright, Anubisius is down.
So Nate done with Anubisius. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz fighting Seto second right now and just not in the best shape currently. See Wizard of Oz draw. He draws what he needs. Wizard of Oz should indeed have the win against Seto second, but the win will take a little bit longer to happen.
Don't need Blackland. Hey, someone's about to get beamed.
The duel that Wizard of Oz is in currently, he absolutely will win it no matter what, but it will take a little while for that win to come to fruition. And all the while, BadNewsNate is going to continue steamrolling ahead.
That's interesting.
So luckily, Wizard of Oz was able to get a second 3300 out, which means he can now wipe out Seto second side of the field, which means he will win in no time from here going forward. Meanwhile, Nate getting a damn good duel against Low Desert Mage here.
Pumpkin Halloween.
Nice quick duel. Means that he moves on to his final duel that he has to do before he's at the end game.
Hey, free CD boys.
Nate taking roughly a 2 mage lead right now. Not quite a 2 mage lead, about 1.5 mage, about a 3 duel lead right now.
Oh, Monster can ice on no job. Hey, also hero. There we go. Out and out. Oh, sword arm. Okay.
Oh, he got the sword arm too.
Dragon.
2 1600 dragons and a thunder. Very good for Nate right there.
So I took out one. Well, I took out 2 dragons. Okay. Yeah, I should be at 9 thunders, 15 and 9, if I remember correctly.
Nate getting a nice chance at Zoa here. No wall.
Alright, we have a chance at APOW.
Yep. Nate will definitely get an APOW here. Well, almost definitely, as long as there's no wall the next turn. Which means Nate could potentially win a Zoa here, which would be great for him. Odds are low, but in 15 card mod, anything can happen, that's for sure.
I'm not even stressed over it at this point. Alright, final 6 time. That was an S-POW.
Yeah, S-powing High Desert Mage Martise is always nice. Yeah, Nate does have that Dark Energy, that Beast Fangs, and that Megamorph, all of which work on Zoa. Does not get it, however, at least probably not. Let's see. No, he does not.
Swing and a miss.
Hmm.
Not saving before final 6. You want to cost me the tournament? Nah, I'm just kidding. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Sebek is down.
Bad News Nate able to take out Sebek with his very first draw, which is always nice. So Nate already done with the first duel of the final 6. Meanwhile,
Now we're fine.
Wizard of Oz fighting high Forest Mage Anubisius, and in a little bit of a pickle here, in a little bit of trouble.
A wall, I don't care.
And even once he's done with this duel, he has another duel to go.
Hey, nice. Did I get this there? I don't think so. This does.
Looks like Wizard of Oz finally being able to take the lead against Anubisius here, but it is a little bit late in the duel for that, which means that this duel might take a little bit longer than he was anticipating.
Thunder Dragon and CD2 are hot.
Meanwhile, Nate is moving on to Neku, winning a Thunder Dragon and a Crawling Dragon number 2, which is going to help buff his deck up just a little bit more to help.
And a Dragon Zombie. I guess I'll put that in. Okay. Let's count how many we have. So 8, 10, 13, 15, 16 dragons, and 10 thunders. Where we're at right now. Holy shit. I'll do that next duel, Rit.
So Nate getting that Megamorph and Twin-Headed draw first turn against Neku and a 3300 the next turn means that his Neku duel not only is a win, but is a nice fast win too.
Sorry, I had to turn my heater off there. Yeah, it's another A-Pal. We're gonna finish him with Brazilian Beast Fangs. How's that sound? Sorry, I had to do it one time. Alright. What do we get? Another CD2, dude.
Alright, Nate starting the duel against one of the first of extremely difficult duels in the games, Haishin second.
CD2.
Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz just now starting his final mage. Nate doing some deck building here to try to increase his odds a little bit of winning this duel. He has a very good deck, especially for Hai Shin, so we can only hope that he draws what he needs here. Nate seeing twin-headed +2 equips or twin-headed plus Megamorph will be all he needs to secure a victory here. And he gets the twin-headed plus Megamorph, a second duel in a row. BadNewsNate beating Hai Shin second, having absolutely no trouble so far.
Holy shit. MBD start. I'm not even gonna go for the SA, pal.
Very good for Nate right now. Moving on to Seto third with absolutely no resistance from the final 6 thus far.
That's regular blue ice. Alright, that's a win.
Alright, see where Nate goes.
I think Wall is like an 8 out of 2048 for it to be in his deck. You don't see it very often. Like, uncommon. I have just one, but I am going to put it in.
So Nate has a Dragon Capture jar he's going to toss in now.
So Petite can go out in exchange. Let's put in CJ. Both walls are 8. Okay. No bully.
Nate drawing a 3,300 first turn against Seto third. It's not the best draw in the world, but it's definitely better than nothing here.
Come on, easy Bodo.
If we see an easy mode here, like a Black Skull, Nate could have this in the bag. Let's see.
MBD.
It's an MBD. That's exactly what Nate needs. He just needs one more equip and a twin-headed. Let's see what happens here. He gets exactly what he needs! Nate, yet again, having absolutely no trouble in the final 6 yet. Drawing exactly what he needs. Nate is in the lead against Seto third right now, ladies and gentlemen. If no random Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is played, Nate has this duel in the bag, and all he needs is his Megamorph to consider it a win no matter what. It's a Moon. Does he get the Megamorph? He gets a Dragon Capture Jar and a Beast Fangs, which just about confirms his win. Even if a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is played at this point, Nate could get rid of it. This is looking very good for BadNewsNate, and it's down to Metal Zoa already, ladies and gentlemen. Nate almost definitely wins no matter what. If an ultimate is played here, he could still potentially lose. Odds are low. It's a Pluto in defense. Nate beating Seto third with absolutely no trouble. Nate has not had a single road bump all the way through the first 4 duels of the final 6. Ladies and gentlemen, Seto third is down for BadNewsNate without batting an eye, without 1 life point damage being taken. BadNewsNate is absolutely steamrolling the final 6 so far.
I'll check for Sky Dragon in a second.
Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is just trying his best to catch up to Nate. Wizard of Oz, I believe, is on the Sebek duel right now, but Nate starting the second to last duel. If Nate just wins the next 2 duels that he has, then this match is all over, ladies and gentlemen. But also, it's worth keeping in mind, this final 6 attempt has gone on for a long time for Nate, so if Nate ends up losing to Nightmare, that could be very bad. Not only has Wizard of Oz caught up, he's in the final 6 right now, which means if Nate loses at any point, that means the Wizard of Oz and Nate are absolutely tied as far as progression in the campaign goes.
I can't gamble against you. Well, I can't gamble with Umi. So.
Nate deciding not to use the Umi gamble here, which would avoid the reverse trap and confirm the win if MBD is not played, but Nate is being a little bit cautious here if that MBD is played. The MBD was not played, which means Nate is really wishing he played that Umi right now, but let's see if he draws the equip to make it not matter. He does not. He draws the Umi second turn. It might be a good play for Nate right now. Dark Knight might answer with a face-down trap, maybe even a face-down reverse trap, which would mean that Nate would almost certainly have the win. Umiing right now would be a pretty good move. Looks like he's not going to do it, though. He is thinking about it. Umi would not be the worst play in the world, but he opts not to. Let's see how that plays out for Nate here. He does have the Regeki, though. Keep that in mind. There's the first trap. Nate has to pray that that's not a reverse trap now. And even if it is a reverse trap, he's not even getting the chance to check. Did Metal Zoa drop for us? I wasn't looking.
I'm in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, Nate is definitely in a little bit of trouble. That is definitely right.
Wow, okay.
He draws the 2 equips he needs. It might be worth playing that Dragon Capture Jar right now. I think that's his play right now, is using that Dragon Capture Jar.
Do I dare do this?
I think not the Regeki. I would use the DCJ, but yeah. He's gonna get rid of 1 equip alongside with it. Ballsy move. Nate is pretty much investing the fact that not only is there not going to be any MBDs to be seen in the rest of this duel, but that these reverse traps that are almost definitely down are not going to be a huge problem for him. Is Nate going to use the equip here? I think it's the best bet here. If using the equip now is the best bet, because if it is a reverse trap, he can at least get rid of the reverse trap early.
See if that's a widespread. No widespread.
No widespread. That's very good. Now, all that needs to happen is nothing stronger than a twin-headed being played. It's a Cosmo Queen and a Megamorph. That's not good for Nate, but he does have the Regeki still. Nate has to Regeki here because there's a good chance that one of those is a reverse trap. Another face down. It's a magic, which means Nate can attack directly right here. That's good for Nate. He's going to want to use his cards. Use the Dark Energy, yes. I think Nate, I think the move was to use the Dark Energy there. He's already halfway done with his deck. He has 5 equips. He's only seen 1, which means in the next 20 cards, he has 4 more equips. It's probably best to bait out those reverse traps early so that he can draw the remainder of his equips and use them without having to worry. But it doesn't matter. Nate takes the win against Dark Knight. It was a long, hard-fought duel, but Nate wins it, and he moves on to the final duel.
Oh, that was a good play. 1 more to go, guys. Let's bring it home.
Definitely a big gamble not using the equip, but it worked out for Nate, and he got that duel done quickly. At least quickly from that point on. Now all we need to do is pray that Nate can make a card that can kill whatever is played first turn here. Nate needs to not see any ultimates and see his Megamorph quick. Let's see what we get here. He has one equip. That's good. That is a very nice... It's not absolutely positively what Nate wanted. It's not the best case scenario, but it is at least decent case scenario. It could be worse.
No, I keep it.
Absolutely. You absolutely keep that equip in this case. I'm not sure about the Thunder, though. All that needs to happen is a Black Skull being played, and Nate has this win in the bag. And if it's not, he's going to have a hard time here. It's a Sun. That's not what you want. It's an ultimate. Nate needs to draw Regeki or Dragon Capture Jar now. Oh, that's not good for Nate. He just needs to throw everything. It doesn't matter what card he makes at this point. He needs to throw everything, and at this point, it's going to have to be a Regeki, especially if a Gate Guardian is played. This is not looking good for Nate. This is not the position you want to be in against the hardest duel in this game, ladies and gents. It is a second Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. That is absolute worst case scenario up to this point in the duel. Only thing saving Nate now would be Regeki. He gets the Regeki, but it's a double ultimate mode. Not only does he need to go down from ultimate, but he needs to go down but before MBD. That's the only thing that would save Nate. It's a Moon, has to be a Black Skull. No, it is a Gate Guardian. If that was a Black Skull, then Bad News Nate would almost certainly have won the duel, but it was a Gate Guardian, which means he loses in one swift attack from Nightmare. That hurts immensely for Nate, because not only does Nate lose that duel, but all the time he spent doing that duel is now down the drain. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is on Haishin. Not looking good for him. Looks like Wizard of Oz just now took a loss against Haishin. He can make a 3,300, but Gate Guardian is out. He's going to take a ton of damage. Wizard of Oz would need a miracle to win this duel. So it looks like both racers are starting from scratch here. I will say, if I was Wizard of Oz there, I would have at least destroyed one of his monsters, because then, God forbid, a wall or a shield were played, he may have survived.
Okay. That puts us back to the beginning.
But by putting that in defense, he pretty much has confirmed that he would not survive there. It was pretty much the equivalent of just killing himself anyway. Which means both of these racers are starting fresh on a brand new Final Six attempt, which means both of these racers are roughly equal right now, ladies and gentlemen. Nate does have a better deck by a tiny bit, but for the most part, they are equal.
Launcher Spider start? Wow. Okay.
If I had to put a bet on the odds of who is going to win this match right now, I would say 55% chance to Bad News Nate and 45% chance to Wizard of Oz right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is that close.
But yeah. This will solidify the win for sure. We had the win anyways, but yeah.
Nate finishing off Sebek with no trouble. This is anybody's game. And ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. The gods have spoken. I am ordering dominoes! I'm hungry.
It all comes down to Final Six.
There is no Papa John's near me. That's the first problem. The second problem is that you're wrong, Jam of a Lifetime. Even if there was a Papa John's near me, I would not be ordering from it. I would instead be shitting on its doorstep. And nobody would ever notice, because it's just going to look like one pile of shit next to another.
How many dragons do I have now? 11, 13, 15. Yeah, so 15. I'll do away with the spellcasters real quick. Turtle in for now. But remember, I started with 15-8 going in the final 6.
Forever, whoever was arguing said it was harder than Nightmare. Rewatched that Nate duel against him. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Wilkins. I think Nightmare is definitely harder than Seto third, and that was on damn good display right there.
That's a win.
Ladies and gentlemen, an even bigger development. I have saved up enough points for a free pizza!
Wow, he's down a faceless mage. Exacxies. Alright, hi shit. Another CD2. I guess I'll put that in.
Dumdog is actually very correct on what he just said. Whenever I order Domino's, I almost never get pizza from there. I get all of their other stuff. Domino's other food items are great. I always get their chicken, their pasta. They have a damn good chicken parmesan sandwich. They have some damn good stuff that isn't pizza. I almost never get pizza. The only reason I'm getting pizza from them right now is because I have a free pizza. Nate getting absolutely fucking destroyed right now against Haishin. Zera is played, which isn't the worst thing ever, and Nate can put a 3300 out, which is going to force that Zera into defense. But Haishin has the chance to do some tricky shit right now. He could play a stronger card. He could Megamorph. See what he does. That could be a Megamorph. It's not a Megamorph! Ooh, looking damn good for Nate, right? Do not use that Umi. I will slap you across the screen right now, Bad News Nate. Alright, Nate does not Umi. Nate averts my slap, ladies and gentlemen, and it's looking very good for him right now.
Alright, if he doesn't play anything next turn, I can Umi. But it's gotta be this turn. No.
And Nate wins against Haishin, ladies and gents. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is just now starting the duel against Haishin.
Soul Hunter mode? What?
Wizard of Oz has the Megamorph, but does not have the twin-headed. That definitely hurts. This opens up Haishin many possibilities to be an asshole. Let's see if he takes any of them. That could be a Megamorph on Wizard of Oz side. It is not a Megamorph for him either, which means that Wizard of Oz is likely able to make a 3800 now. Wizard of Oz able to make a 3800 twin-headed, however, he's not able to attack yet because of that trap, which gives Haishin one more turn to be an asshole and play a Megamorph. Let's see if Haishin is going to take this chance. He is not going to take this chance, which means it's looking good for Wizard of Oz against Haishin right now as well, but he still has to get rid of that trap, and then he can only kill one monster there. Which means as long as Haishin has one monster there, he could absolutely use that Megamorph, which would be terrible for Wizard of Oz. If Haishin does not Megamorph on this turn, though, Wizard of Oz has the duel. Let's see if it happens. It does not. Wizard of Oz almost definitely has this duel in the bag. In fact, I think he had a Regeki in his hand. He did not, but he draws the second equip he needs to turn it into a win. Wizard of Oz wins against Haishin second. It's just going to take another minute for the duel to finish up. Meanwhile, Nate is already on to Seto third, starting the duel now. Nate with a tiny bit of a lead over Wizard of Oz right now, but if Nate gets a slow duel and Wizard of Oz gets a fast duel, Wizard of Oz could definitely pull ahead here. If both of these racers beat the game on this attempt, it is anybody's game, but Nate is currently in the lead.
Alright, let's do this.
All it would take is Nate getting a slightly slower duel than Wizard of Oz for him to pull ahead. Nate getting, again, a decent draw first hand against Seto third. Not ideal draw, but better than nothing for sure. He can at least make a 3,300 here. Let's see what Seto has to offer.
What does he start with?
There's a Moon, a Gate Guardian. That's very good for Nate. He just needs one more equip. Will he get it? He will get it!
Did it again!
Nate with these absolutely insane draws, taking the lead against Seto third again! All we need now is no random Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon until Nate draws two more regular Equipsters Megamorph. What will happen? It's a Moon. Will Nate draw what he needs? He draws a Dragon Capture Jar, which means that even if a random Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is played, Nate has insurance against it. What Nate needs to do now is get damage done to Seto third. Get within the point that one Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon will be enough.
Matchup here. It's going to come down really to whoever gets through this next fight.
Looking very good for Nate.
I'm going
all we need for the most part is no ultimate on this turn. If ultimate is played on this turn, Nate has a chance to lose. If not, then it's looking good for Nate. He almost definitely wins this duel. Over on Wizard of Oz's side, he draws almost the same exact thing that Nate drew. And he gets a Moon as well, a Gate Guardian as well. Almost the same start. Let's see if Wizard of Oz gets the same luck. He does not get exactly the same luck. He gets the luck in a different form of Umi. Wizard of Oz making the correct choice to play that Umi. Let's see how Seto responds here. Wizard of Oz is going to take a lot of damage from this, but he will not die. It looks like that is a regular Blue Eyes White Dragon, though. Not an ultimate. Looking good for Wizard of Oz. Looking even better for BadNewsNate right now, who is ending the duel as we speak. BadNewsNate beating Seto third. Wizard of Oz has the lead against Seto third. This is very close, ladies and gents. Now, Wizard of Oz has to keep that Gate Guardian alive for now, because if he kills it, he will be Regeki'd the very next turn. It's a very weak card, Gaia the Dragon Champion and a Dragon Capture Jar just to make things more secure, and he gets rid of it. Okay. Wizard of Oz absolutely making a possibly fatal mistake right there by throwing that Dragon Capture Jar. That was a very, very bad move. If a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is played here, then Wizard of Oz just lost and has no recourse because he made a mistake. But Wizard of Oz still most likely going to win here no matter what happens. With that Dark Hole out, it just means that Wizard of Oz almost definitely wins. 50 life points left. We can almost guarantee that Wizard of Oz wins this duel against Seto third. Yes, Wizard of Oz wins against Seto third, even though he made a crucial, possibly fatal mistake. BadNewsNate on Dark Knight drawing the Dragon Capture Jar, which means BadNewsNate does not have to worry about MBD being played, at least for now. He has a little bit of insurance, and unlike Wizard of Oz, he's going to keep that insurance in his hand. And let's see how it plays out. What will Dark Knight do?
It is MBD.
It is MBD, but remember, Bad News Nate kept that insurance, and he's probably going to cash it in right here and now. Ooh, he does not even draw twin-headed in that. That's very bad for Nate. He's going to want to use that Dragon Capture Jar, get rid of the MBD. The odds are a trap will be played, and he can begin to maneuver around that. If Wizard of Oz gets a very good draw against Dark Knight, then it looks like Wizard of Oz has a chance to pull ahead here, ladies and gentlemen. If Wizard of Oz gets a good Dark Knight duel, because we can almost guarantee Nate is not going to have a fast Dark Knight duel. He very well may win, but if it's a slow win and Wizard of Oz gets a fast one, this could be it for Nate. Let's see what happens. It's a trap. That's exactly what you want to see.
Trap. Okay.
He draws the dragon. He's going to make the twin-headed, and he's going to attack into it, see what that trap is.
I am going to YOLO and say that is not a widespread. We're going to go for it. Very risky, but we'll do it. Okay, it's not widespread.
It's not a widespread. It could still be a reverse trap, which means if that twin-headed cannot kill whatever card this is, Nate could be in trouble. It is a Blue Eyes White Dragon. That is really not what Nate wants to see right now, guys.
Why?
He does not even have an equip to try. Nate has to be worried about reverse trap right now, but he doesn't even have the equip to attempt it. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is in some hot water as well. He can only make a 3,300 against an MBD. Wizard of Oz is also in hot water. The traps are going to begin to flow in the Dark Knight duel for Wizard of Oz. Let's see what Nate draws. Nate does draw an equip, but there are two traps down. One of those traps could be a widespread. One of them could be a reverse trap, or both of them could be neither, which is exactly what Nate needs right now. Wizard of Oz not looking good for him. Let's see what happens for Nate. Is there a reverse trap? No reverse trap. Will he go for the attack? Will Nate go for the attack? There is only one card that could be a widespread. The other one is definitely not. Nate does not go for the attack. He is risking it, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? Nate in a much better spot right now. All he needs to do is attack in with one of these monsters, and if there is a widespread ruin, it will activate. Keep an eye on this screen right now. Neither of them are a widespread. Nate takes control right now, and he can Umi next turn to guard against the Meteor Bee Dragon. All Nate needs is no MBD on this very next turn, and Nate wins no matter what. Nate wins against Dark Knight no matter what. He does not need to risk... No, Nate, no.
Right, I have to see if one of those are reverse traps. If not, then we win.
Nate.
There are no reverse traps either.
Nate.
What is this?
Had Nate played an Umi there, he would have had the win absolutely certain, regardless of whether or not that was a reverse trap. Even if there was a reverse trap down, that's all the more reason that Umi would have won it for him. But regardless of the mistake, Nate continues on beating Dark Knight. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz taking control of his duel against Dark Knight. Looks like Wizard of Oz is going to win as well. He's probably going to win on this coming turn as well, ladies and gentlemen. Nate needs to hurry his ass up and win against Nightmare, because Wizard of Oz is going to be starting Nightmare within the next couple seconds. Let's see. He doesn't draw anything. 5 monsters. No, that hurts immensely for Bad News Nate, but he needs to throw and hurry the hell up, because Wizard of Oz finishing up his Dark Knight duel just now. Let's see what happens for Nate here. This could mean the difference between a win or a loss. It is a Pugum. Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth. Nate needs 2 equips and a twin-headed or his Megamorph. He draws 1 equip. No, not looking good for Nate. Not looking good. He has the Big Thunder. He has the equip. He needs 1 more equip. And meanwhile, Wizard of Oz drawing a 3,800. If there is no Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon played against Wizard of Oz, he could win before Nate even gets a chance. Let's see what happens. It's a wall, and it's an ultimate for Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz in some hot water. Nate does not draw what he needs, but there was a wall shadow played, which means Nate has one more turn, one more game to go against Nightmare. He just needs one more equip to be drawn, and he could win. That wall shadow is saving Nate right now. One more turn. Let's see what happens. Can he get a second one? No, but it's a Cosmo Queen. Nate can kill that.
Please.
Nightmare is actually giving Nate some turns to play around with here to draw what he needs, and he draws it, but he doesn't. He does not have what he needs to kill either of
We
them.
have a chance.
Wait, he can kill one of them, but he has to use both equips here. Oh, the fucking humanity for Nate right now.
All right, we need a Geki though. That's the only way we get through this. Come on.
Nate right now has one more turn, ladies and gentlemen. Wizard of Oz loses to Nightmare. Nate needs to draw either Regeki or Twin-Headed plus Megamorph if he wants a chance at winning this, ladies and gentlemen. If Nate could win it right here, you lose screen for Wizard of Oz. All Nate needs to see is Twin-Headed plus Megamorph or Regeki. Maybe. Let's see. No, Nate loses it. That other magic almost looking like an equip, but it was not.
This is the only way.
Nate almost certainly losing this duel right now. The only thing that is going to save him will be another wall shadow. Will there be a second wall shadow played? That is the only way that Nate will survive one more turn.
Wow, this is really monk-ass.
He needs a wall shadow. No wall shadow. Nate loses to Nightmare. Both of our racers were just fighting the final duel at the same time, and both of our racers have lost the final duel. Which means nobody has won yet, and they are both going to begin another go, but Wizard of Oz in a slightly better lead than Nate right now. Wizard of Oz fighting Sebek before Nate even begins it, mainly because Wizard of Oz just lost faster. What? Nate doing something very interesting here. Nate already having a better deck than Wizard of Oz, going back to farming against Meadow Mage. This is virtually unheard of for these races. In a match where both opponents were just on Nightmare. In a match where Nate has been on Nightmare not once but twice. A deck that has already proved itself to be incredibly consistent. And Nate says, not consistent enough for me. I want to win, and I want to win fast. I want MBD. Nate going back to farming. I'm not sure how good of a move that is. I don't agree with it. But he is doing it. Will it pay off for him? Now, if Nate wins that MBD on the first duel, then I can almost guarantee that that is going to help his chances significantly. But if this gamble does not pay off, then you can just chalk this up to about 2 minutes of lost time for Bad News Nate.
You know what?
The only way this is going to pay off for Nate is if he wins this MBD right now. Keep in mind, Wizard of Oz, this actually isn't that terrible of a play the more that I think about it. And the main reason for saying that is that Wizard of Oz already had a lead on Bad News Nate, which means that if Wizard of Oz wins and Bad News Nate won on the next Final Six attempt, Wizard of Oz would still win the race because Wizard of Oz had a lead over Bad News Nate. But if Wizard of Oz loses on this attempt, then that means Nate has time to do a little bit of a farm, 1 or 2 duels. So Nate is pretty much saying, listen, if Wizard of Oz wins on this attempt, I would have lost even if I didn't do this farm. And if Wizard of Oz does not win on this attempt, then I have time to do 1 or 2 farm duels and then go back to it. And Nate winning Skull Knight and Dark Magician, and I think I saw Kaminari attack. That definitely helps Nate's deck.
I saved, yeah.
That wasn't a terrible choice by Nate to go back and do a single farm duel.
Not really. It has 3 equips. So I am going to put the Skull Knight in permanently. And another Kaminari, which is great.
Even if Nate had not won anything good, I still think it was worth doing what he just did, actually. It was worth it just for the chance to win something, because remember, if Wizard of Oz wins on this attempt, Nate would have lost anyway. If Wizard of Oz beats the game on this attempt, he was already ahead of Nate. Wizard of Oz was already ahead of Nate in the campaign, which means if Nate didn't farm, and Nate entered the final 6, Wizard of Oz would have still been ahead of him. And if Wizard of Oz wins on that attempt, even if Nate ends up winning on that attempt, it's almost certain Wizard of Oz would have won first.
Let's just remind Dan of him winning Toon Alligator on BCD last night, yeah?
So instead of doing that, he's pretty much saying, listen, if Wizard of Oz wins, I lose anyway, so I'm just going to bank on him losing. And if he does lose, that means all the time he's spending right now fighting the final 6 will be wasted time, and I can use a little bit of that time to do a farm duel or two to make my deck better. It was actually a good move by Nate there.
Pretty much. Nice G-Mammy.
Yeah, all it takes is one slow duel, but Nate was pretty much counting on the fact that Wizard of Oz was going to lose. Now, granted, Wizard of Oz didn't have a huge lead over Nate, so yes, Wizard of Oz could have had a slow duel and Nate could have pulled ahead, but I think Nate was thinking, you know what, the odds are he's already ahead of me, he could have a slow duel and I could have all fast duels, but realistically the odds are, for one, that's not going to happen, and for two, he's probably going to lose at some point in this final 6 attempt. So why not use some of that time? Was it a risk by Nate? I think it was absolutely a risk, but I think it was a smart risk to take, and it ended up paying off for Nate. I think it absolutely paid off for Nate.
All right, that's a win on Neku.
Because look at Wizard of Oz's duel. It's not looking good. If Wizard of Oz loses here, then Nate's plan worked. Let's see. Wizard of Oz's side. Wizard of Oz losing against Haishin right here. Almost definitely a loss for Wizard of Oz, which means Nate's plan actually worked. He took a very small risk, but it paid off for Nate. His deck is now better than it was before, and he's ahead of Wizard of Oz in the campaign. Smart move by Nate, smart risk taken by Nate, and it fucking paid off for Nate as well. It paid off.
Alright, so Oz just died. Soul Hunter. Okay, that's even better. There's still a good chance here.
Nate indeed big-brained that one. That was a big-brain play. It was a small risk, but it absolutely paid off for Nate. No question. This match is going on right now, half and double.
Of course I exact lethal, man. Dark Fire is okay, I guess. Nothing doing. Nah, Umi's not the right play.
No, sir.
Fuck Umi.
Let's see what Haishin plays against Nate. The moon. It's a Geek Guardian. Not what you want to see, but can Nate pull something out of his ass here? Nothing. Nate draws absolutely nothing. Not looking good for Nate right now. If he plays that Umi, okay, so Nate pretty much said, listen, I'm either going to die fast or I'm going to win fast. I don't want to die slow. That is exactly what Nate just said, which means that Nate's only chance right now is to one card draw and equip. He has 5 equips, and he needs to see one of them right now to win. And he does not see it, which means Nate loses. Nate could still potentially win, actually. He can kill one of those monsters. The only way Nate can still win is if Haishin plays either a Wall Shadow or Shield, or if Haishin plays a Magic or Trap. These are the only ways that Nate can possibly win. And it's played, but it's a Megamorph.
Okay,
It is not a Megamorph, which means Nate has one more chance to draw an equip. A single equip. He does not draw it. This means that Nate is almost certainly dead, but it can still happen. We just need the same exact thing to happen a second time, ladies and gents.
Yeah, we lose.
Now Nate loses unless that's a wall or shield. And it is not. Bad news, Nate has lost against Haishin. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is chugging on along.
Alright, thanks for the good luck, Dan.
Wizard of Oz beats Sebek, moves on to Neku. Meanwhile, Bad News Nate is navigating into Sebek as we speak. Maybe Bad News Nate will do a single farm duel again. Big brain us all. He will not. Ladies and gentlemen, I have put off something for far too long, and that is finishing the order for my pizza. Let's get it going.
Zoa, probably. No metal Zoa. You know what I haven't seen show up yet is fucking Megamorph.
God damn, Domino's has some really good deals right now. Guess how much money I just saved on my Domino's order. This is more important than the match. Guess how much goddamn money I just saved on my Domino's order thanks to coupons and a free pizza. I used one coupon and I got a mostly free pizza. The toppings that I have on it were not free. I still did have to pay $2.50 for the pizza because I got some meaty toppings. How much money y'all think I saved? $25? Jesus. I wish.
Well, escargot and CD2 is very good.
I saved $14.69.
I won't add those to the counter this time. There goes 3 of my thunders, so that leaves you with 8.
Dude, that's so epic. My order total, including a tip, is $16, and it would have been $30. Close to 31. I get a lot of food. Whenever I order Domino's, I usually just get a shit ton of food, and then I eat some of it tonight, and then I eat some of it the next day. So I almost always order 2 meals whenever I order. Check out. place your order. Sending your order to the store. Almost done. Thanks for your patience. Order successfully placed, ladies and gentlemen.
That's fine.
Alright, what did I miss?
I just laugh in the face of that and just play a 3300.
Who's dead? Tell me who's dead. Looks like Wizard of Oz is dead. Oh yeah, Wizard of Oz is dead. That Megamorph was just some fucking bad manners by Haishin against Oz right now. Which means Bad News Nate pulls ahead again! Will he do something with it this time and finally fucking win already?
Deku is hard owed, so. Who knows what the rest of the final four have?
Nate moving on to high shit.
I saw Oz just lost that Haishin again. Okay, let's go to work.
Looks like Wizard of Oz doing a farm duel right now. Trying to pick up that hot, sexy, quick MBD.
Went me last time, but I still don't think it's the right play. I tossed the entire hand.
Potentially big brain here on Wizard of Oz. Let's see if it pays off for him like it did for Nate. Nate also used this big brain tactic, and it paid off for Nate. But will it pay off for Wizard of Oz? Let's see.
Gate Guardian mode again.
Gate Guardian played. What does Nate draw?
Ooh,
Ooh,
okay,
Nate draws one equip and a Regeki. Nate is going to do the correct move of playing a monster and keeping that Regeki for one more turn.
That's another Gate
Which was
Guardian.
definitely the right play, because it's
So
another
all I
Gate
need
Guardian.
Megamorph Zera, I lose. Need a dragon and a...
Nate's going to play that Regeki, hoping for a good draw here.
Neither.
I would have saved the dragon, Mr. Nate, and this is why.
3, 2, 1.
Nate not losing yet. He needs to draw a dragon, though. He does draw the dragon. Good on him. We have Wizard of Oz not winning anything on that first duel, and he decides to do another duel.
Yeah, Wizard is farming. I saw that. Okay, Beast Skull mode.
Down to Black Skull. Nate can kill that.
Alright, now's our chance. Just don't make a morph, please.
Oh, no.
Son of a bitch.
That's the end of Bad News Nate's attempt right
no
there.
Chance at that one. You were right, GMS. Yeah, I lose. What is the common theme with us losing to Haishin 2? Alright, I guess we're gonna go to another duel.
Looks like Nate's gonna go back to farming as well, which means we have two farming boys. See if it works out for Wizard of Oz here.
Interesting move, but we're gonna try to go for the dark energy.
It does not.
We need more equips.
Nate's gonna go for the dark energy. I don't agree with that. I think that that is the wrong play by Bad News Nate here. I definitely do not agree with this play. If you're gonna farm at this stage, you're gonna farm Meadow. But Nate decides that a dark energy would be better for him. I don't agree with that. I don't think winning a dark energy would really make that much of a difference for him. So I cannot say I agree with Bad News Nate on this decision right now.
Four.
Nate, when he made this decision, did say to his stream that he knows that it looks weird, but this is what he wants to do. So Nate is at least acknowledging that it is not really the conventional thing to do. Not sure if it's going to pay off for Nate. The only universe I see this paying off for Nate in is the universe where he wins a dark energy right here and now. And even if he does, I don't know if I can condone this action by Nate, because that dark energy could have been an MBD potentially, but let's see if it pays off a little bit at least. Nothing.
Right, well, looks like I'm going to Meadow.
Yes. Nate decided to take a little bit of a risk there. Not a huge risk, but do something a little bit different, and it did not pay off. I don't think it was a good decision, but it's not that huge of a deal. He's now on Meadow. We have 2 farming boys!
Dude, where the fuck are my thunders?
Maybe they're in the barn!
Christ. You didn't miss much, Spyro. Us getting boned by Final 6. It's 300, so 16 will be enough. Exact lethal. This should be A pal still. Bomb boys, hell yeah. Nothing. You were gone before Soda second. Nothing has happened, really. We're both on the last part of the game, but yeah. I know. I gotta put it back in.
So both racers right now are farming against low Meadow Mage, and they are both pretty much exclusively looking for Meteor B Dragon here. Now, they would both love to see some Skull Knights, maybe even some Dark Magicians, but for the most part, this is for Meteor B Dragon. Both of our farming boys would love to see Meteor B Dragon right now.
ETR League? I see.
Nate getting fucked with his draws, I can say that.
Hey, you do you. Perfectly fine. Alright. That's probably a shield. I mean, to be safe, I did have Umi. That's accurate. I can't join a second now. Dude, these drops are bad. That's your problem, Marcus. With this chip money, of course. At the shield.
Bad News Nate getting shielded, not what you want to see.
Please just be Empress Judge.
Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz getting
You
fucked,
dickhead.
if I do say so myself.
I don't know. I mean, he's got me winning it all in the tournament, so... He's probably being deceptive, but still. GFC is just being GFC.
Yes, super moist. So yeah, not too much to talk about right now, as we have two farming boys, as I mentioned previously. So like I said, not too much to talk about right now. Both boyos are just looking for that Meteor B drag and drop. Not sure how long they're going to keep this up for.
Bye, shield. I gotta deck edit real quick before I continue this next duel.
But I can definitely confirm that both farming boys are going to continue for at least one more farm duel.
Ori. Gaia can go in for this farm phase. Out. And in.
He didn't put in the Dark Magician, and I want to hit him very hard.
I just can't draw anything to save my life. That's a good start, though. Oh, come on. Really? This fucking blows. Gonna pop a blood vessel? Just don't do it in front of your Domino's delivery driver.
I told him that if he doesn't put that goddamn Dark Magician in, I swear to God, I'm gonna pop a blood vessel. And he said to just don't pop the vessel in front of the delivery driver. I've been owned. This is the end for me.
Pretty sure that's a shield. Delivering bad news. I mean, it's what I do best anyways. I'm obligated to deliver bad news, okay? We'll just put it that way. Also, nice try with the shield.
He won Meteor Dragon. That brought me back to life.
Not in my house.
But it was on a BCD POW, so it's not like it hurts.
Okay, well, that just delivered us an easy win.
Your delivery driver, Ricky, is on the way! Hurry up! Someone win! Watch, they're both going to be farming for the next, 3 hours, and it's going to come down to points. Just win MBD now, and just win the game, Nate, please.
Metal Dragon's good.
Motherfucker, dude. Oh, I wanna die. Oh, I wanna die.
I got another Dark Magician. I guess by GFC's request, I'll just put the fucking Dark Magician.
Yeah, that's fucking right, you goddamn asshole!
That way he doesn't suffer from epilepsy.
I just typed in his chat and just said thank you with a happy face.
You're welcome, you dickhead.
Skull Knight. Skull Knight for Wizard of Oz. What's his points thing? If both racers are not done by 5 hours in, the winner will be determined by points. So at the 5-hour mark, both racers stop playing the game, and whoever has more points will be the winner of the match. You get points for winning duels against members of the final 6. You get 1 point for Sebek, 2 for Neku, 5 for Haishin, 10 for Seto Third, and 7 for Dark Knight. Which means every time you beat Sebek, you get 1 point. Every time you beat Neku, you get 2. And whoever has the most points wins. Now, this only comes into play if both racers are not done by 5 hours.
Let's take out a tier 1 dragon for it, yeah. Dude, why won't you show up in Final 6? This Megamorph keeps showing up every fucking time. Just why? Why are you tormenting me, game?
I just said, have you thought about winning MBD? Thinking emoji.
No, I think I'm gonna try another Mage Soldier duel, and I'm probably gonna go for Dark Energy alongside, because I have 2 Dark Magicians.
I hope he's joking.
And a Skull Knight, so potentially.
I hope he's just memeing me in reply to what I asked. He sounds way too serious, though.
Okay, I think I'm gonna try.
Alright, I mean, I guess with 3 Dark Magicians, I don't disagree. But I don't like it. I don't like that I don't disagree. Ooh, that hurts for Wizard of Oz. He just won Meteor Dragon on APOW. Uh-oh, Wizard of Oz is going. He's going. Wizard of Oz is moving on, I think. Don't know if Nate knows that, but he might want to. Is he moving on? Let's see. Nate's moving. Wizard of Oz is moving back into the final 6, ladies and gentlemen. He's making moves. We now only have 1 farm and more. I should go turn on the light for the delivery driver. And also pray to God that the delivery driver doesn't come up to my door and just hear very low volume in the distance of the house. 1 farm and boy. Alright, BRB. I gotta go open the door and put on the light so my delivery driver can actually see when he comes to my door.
Dark energy, boys. All right, let's go.
All right, I'm back. Oh my god, my back hurts so much. Oh, god, I'm dying. This is the end. Well, looks like Nate is also no longer a farming boy. He got a dark energy.
Remember to take out the
It actually worked for him. The goddamn motherfucking madman. It actually paid off for Nate. Wow. Oh, just win now. Sort of paid off. No, that's a definite payoff. That's yet another equip that Nate has that Wizard of Oz doesn't. Not to mention, Nate has a lot of Dark Magicians now. And he has at least one Skull Knight. I don't know, he might have two at this point. But yeah, I know he at least has the one. And now equipped for it. Yet another equip for it.
Metal Zoa start.
Pizza's here.
All right, I'm tired of playing around.
Pizza has been
I have two dark
obtained.
energies in the deck. I
Well,
have
guys,
two,
looks like this race is over now. I promised Nate that if he did not win by the time my pizza got here, that I was just going to remove both him and Wizard of Oz from the tournament. Remove both Nate and Wizard of Oz from the tournament and place myself as the winner. I'm the winner of this match, motherfucker. And end the stream.
Hey now, hey now. It's all or nothing on this attempt.
But yeah, looks like the race is over and I am in round 4. I'm doing good.
Alright, that can come out. This can come out. Dude, I won 2 metal dragons? What?
Oh my god, my back hurts so bad.
Okay.
I fell asleep on my couch last night, and apparently my body did not like that at all, and now my legs and my back are incredibly sore.
That's just wrong, game.
But hey, I have pizza. Pizza time.
Pretty much. I need you to go to like Summon Skull or something. It's another Zoa. Still an APAL potential.
No, half and double. It does not keep the equips after you fuse it.
Guy is not in my deck, so it's impossible.
My pizza has chicken and shredded Parmesan. Light shredded Parmesan added, in addition to everything else. I also got it with marinara sauce on instead of regular tomato sauce. It's a chicken Parmesan pizza, motherfucker.
Nothing. Okay. Let's just go for it.
It is damn good.
Hurts.
I get this all the time. Anytime I get pizza from Domino's, this is the pizza I get. It's so good. Yeah, everything is chicken parm with me, because chicken parm is just so good.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Alright, I need twin-headed now. Yes.
So Nate getting the Black Skull start and has a 3300. Wizard of Oz beating Haishin, moving on to settle third. Maybe one of these fucking boys will win right here and now. Only one way to find out. Keep one eye glued to Nate and one eye glued to Wizard of Oz.
Okay. Couple more turns and he's finished. If I see Wall Shadow, he's finished next turn. Oh, okay, that was Monka us.
So Nate takes the win against Haishin, most likely. Yeah, Nate takes the win against Haishin. And Wizard of Oz is currently fighting Seto third. I didn't see what he drew, but it doesn't look good. Let's see what Seto plays. 5 monsters and an ultimate. Not looking good for Wizard of Oz. Let's see what he draws. That rhymed. Sorry. He draws 2 Umis and a Dragon Treasure. 3,300 not helping him right now. He just needs to throw it all and pray.
Alright, Metal Zoa. Alright, I think that's a win. Mega loser.
Wizard of Oz does draw the Dragon Capture Jar when he needs it, but is he going to use it this turn or save it in case of the double ultimate? I would personally use it just like Wizard of Oz did because I see double ultimates not that often. Let's pray to God he doesn't see that, because if he does, and it's not looking good. A second trap. 2 magics actually played.
There's nothing here.
And he has the Dark Hole in his hand. That makes those 2 magics a lot less scary for Wizard of Oz.
I'm gonna cut my other dragon zombie.
Wizard of Oz still has a chance here. If I were him, I think I would have attacked there, because he could have gotten 2,800 damage done.
I'm gonna cut.
But he decides not to, and it's only a Black Skull. Looking good. Doesn't draw anything that he needs, though.
What else do I have? Yeah, I'm gonna play Yami.
Another monster. See what it is. It's a sun. It is a regular Blue Eyes.
Alright, here we go.
Let's see what he draws. Oh my god, he still cannot even make a twin-headed. Meanwhile, Nate draws a 4,300 in the first turn. If no ultimate played against Nate, he could have this duel fast. If I were Nate, I would throw 2 dragons and the Dragon Treasure, maybe. Or he could just keep the 1,600, yeah. Can't kill an ultimate either way, unless you want to rely on a 1-card equip draw, which is not smart. See what happens. It's a moon for Nate! It's a Black Skull! Nate, with the upper hand against Seto third here. Not throwing those other 2 cards. Small mistake by Nate, but shouldn't be that big of a deal. And it looks like Wizard of Oz is going to be able to take control of the duel too. But it looks like Nate might be able to win this duel faster than Wizard of Oz, provided there is no ultimate played against him.
Alright, not top deck. We're good.
No ultimate. It's a regular Blue Eyes. And Nate can kill that with a 3,300 as well. which is going to mean this duel, if no ultimate is played on the next turn, Nate almost definitely has the win, and it will be a fast Seto third win. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz has 9 cards left, a very slow potential win for Wizard of Oz, but Nate is getting that fast win, which is going to bring him ahead of Wizard of Oz here. If there's no ultimate right here for Nate. There is no ultimate. Nate beats Seto third and pulls ahead of Wizard of Oz.
Third time. Hopefully third time is the charm.
But not by much, I can say that. Oh! The shadow spell used against Wizard of Oz. That's not good. What is it? It's a Zoa! Wizard of Oz getting ridiculously lucky right there, ladies and gentlemen. But unfortunately for Wizard of Oz, he cannot win this turn. He still will not win this turn. He needs to waste another turn, and this is time that Nate can use to pull a little bit further ahead. If an MBD, a Gate Guardian, or an ultimate is played against Wizard of Oz, it's not looking good for him, but if not, he should have it. It was neither of those things, and Wizard of Oz beat Seto third, but he beats Seto third slower than Nate does. If Nate just doesn't slow down, he can win right here.
You're just in time, man.
Both racers on the Dark Knight cutscene, but Nate just about done with it while Wizard of Oz is just now starting it. A lot of this is gonna come down to the Dark Knight duel and how fast it is. Nate wasting a little bit of that time right there, but it should be okay. A lot of this will come down. If Nate gets a fast Dark Knight, then he could win this right here. And that is the draw you want to see for a fast Dark Knight. He just needs the Thunder now.
Thunder wins.
If Nate draws one Thunder, he has this Dark Knight duel finished very quickly. It's an MBD. He needs that Thunder. That's all he needs. Nate draws that Thunder. It's a fast Dark Knight. He does not draw it. This is very bad for Nate. This is terrible for Nate right now, because the magics are going to start being played. It is a trap. That's not good for Nate. If that's a reverse trap, then Nate is going to be in hot water. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz draws 5 monsters. He gets the Thunder, but if that's a reverse trap, it's going to hurt. He could decide to put the Beast Fangs on the Skull Knight and only risk 1 equip. Nate says, fuck that. I'm using both. If it's a reverse trap, I lose for the most part. It's a Blue Eyes for Wizard of Oz. He needs 1 equip. Let's see. No, it's a reverse trap for Nate! It is a reverse trap for Nate! Wizard of Oz cannot beat that Blue Eyes. He's thinking about what to do right now. Maybe playing the Umi, maybe playing the Dragon Capture Jar. He's not sure. Nate needs to draw. He draws! Nate draws right now. He has to risk it. He has no other choice but to equip that Skull Knight and pray to God that it is not a reverse trap or anything else. Not a reverse trap.
Okay.
Is he going to go for it?
I cannot attack.
He's not going for it. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is in some very hot water right now. I can tell you that much. Ooh. Nate with that draw right now. I would just equip the Twin-Headed. Go for it. Throw every card and equip the Twin-Headed. Yes. If that card he just played is a reverse trap, he can get rid of it and he can attack into that card. And if it's not, he can attack in with both. Let's see. It was a reverse trap. That's okay. He can attack into it with that card now. See if it's a widespread. Go.
Widespread.
It was not a widespread. Nate takes a little bit of damage, but he also has control of the duel now. Now, if a Black Skull is played, this is going to be bad news for BadNewsNate. It was a Black Skull! The one card that Nate did not want to see right now. That's not good. Oh, and he doesn't draw the equip he needs. That's horrible for Nate. Nate knows that that trap out right now, it's not a reverse trap, and it is not a widespread. So if he had drawn a 3300, he could have taken control right now, but he cannot do that. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz loses a twin-headed because he did not put it in Moon.
Now that could be a widespread.
But it looks like Wizard of Oz is going to win this duel. Nate has one more chance. He needs to pray that there is no reverse trap or widespread. He doesn't have much more of a choice than to try it. Keeping that Umi for insurance against this being a reverse.
Widespread or reverse trap?
No reverse.
Widespread, please.
And it's no widespread.
We have control of the duel.
Nate taking control of the duel. Who's going to win first? It's looking good for Wizard of Oz, I'll tell you that.
Good. Oh my god, dude.
Wizard of Oz is going to win the duel on the next turn. Nate will not. This is not looking good for Nate as far as progression goes. Wizard of Oz has the duel done. Wizard of Oz beats Dark Knight. Meanwhile, Nate needs at least 2 more turns.
Alright, I win next turn.
If Wizard of Oz beats Dark Knight, Nightmare, then Wizard of Oz will win. On Nightmare, there is almost no such thing as a slow duel. Almost all of the duels are fast wins or fast losses. Which means there is almost no chance for Bad News Nate to catch up to Wizard of Oz right now. The only thing Nate can hope for is that Wizard of Oz loses here. That is the only scenario where Nate can still win right now. And Wizard of Oz draws a 3300 in his first turn. He opts to save the dragon and the thunder. If there is a Black Skull or lower played, then Wizard of Oz is looking good for the win. It's a sun. It's an ultimate. No! Wizard of Oz in some hot water now. What does he draw? He draws another. Oh, no. Oh, the humanity for Wizard of Oz. He draws the 3800, but it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, Nate does not draw anything that he needs.
I can't risk it.
Nate having to throw all 5 cards. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz losing 2 of his 3 equips against an ultimate. What will happen here? It's a Moon. It's a Black Skull. If Wizard of Oz can draw a Regeki and get rid of that, or a Dragon Capture Jar, Wizard of Oz could win. Let's see. He doesn't draw anything. Wizard of Oz loses. Over to Bad News Nate. It's an ultimate. Not good for Nate. He draws a Dragon Treasure, or the Dark Energy, but it's not enough. He's going to save the Dark Energy. And if you're Nate right now, what you're hoping for is that you draw 2 more Dark Energies, or you draw your Megamorph and a Skull Knight or Dark Magician. That is the only scenario where Nate might win right now. Or a Regeki. Nate needs a Regeki or Skull Knight and a bunch of other equips. Let's see what happens. Nate gets one of the things that he needs, but it's not enough to win. It's only going to kill the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Nate loses against Nightmare. Both people lose against Nightmare, and my pizza continues to get cold. This commentator will not stand for the pizza getting cold. I am muting for the next 2 minutes. Enjoy the we got a farming boy. What will Nate do? What will Nate do? We got 2 farming boys.
All right, I've had enough of this. I'm like pissed right now. I'm so fucking mad.
These boys may have the horses in the back, but they do not have the MPDs in the back! Alright, I'm getting my pizza now.
Yeah, it's 3 times I've lost to him. This should never have happened. This is really what you call a bad beat.
Wizard of Oz with the MBD! Wizard of Oz wins MBD! Not good for Nate. He needs one right here to keep up. Will he get it? He gets it too! Oh my fucking god! Nate and Wizard of Oz both get MBD on the very same duel! We have two farming boys! Not anymore! Now we have two MBD boys! And they're both moving on with the next best card in their deck being added. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Both decks are now more than capable to beat the game, even more than they were before. Oh my god, my pizza tastes so good!
Get something, he responds. Boom. There we go.
Yeah, I'll be okay. Pizza's good, though. Ugh. Can somebody just fucking win already?
What a shit show of a race. Yeah, this is a perfect return. This might be the best run on commentary for GFC. I will go back and take a look at it for sure. That's insane. Dragon Zombie's okay. I'm not even gonna put it in. Fuck this. I'm gonna toss everything here.
I have to say, this is definitely the best match I've commentated so far. This is insanity, guys. Honestly, this is so insane.
Down to Kazajan.
I honest to God think that this stream that you guys are watching is worthy of just going up on YouTube as its own video. Like, I was probably gonna grab a couple highlights from this match and put that on YouTube as a video, but this entire match has been so insane that I honest to God think that this full match being highlighted and put on YouTube is a good idea. I think that it would be interesting for anybody who watches it. It's insanity.
Good time to see you. We're slightly ahead. We're gonna win next turn.
I don't commentate on every single match because I obviously can't be around for every time somebody decides to do one of their matches. But I commentate on any match that I'm available for the most part. And I'm also going to do my best to commentate every single match in the semifinals and the final match. I'm going to commentate those almost definitely. Like, I'm actually going to try to clear my schedule just so I can commentate them. But every match up until that point, I might commentate some. I might not commentate others. It's just random depending on when they're happening and what I'm doing at that time.
We don't do this. No. We're not.
Ooh, bad news, Nate. Oh, he's deciding not to Umi, and it hurts. It hurts. It hurts because that was an opportunity to make a 3,800, but it was also such a huge risk because a Megamorph would almost definitely follow. I think Nate made the right move, though. Let's see if he draws that other equip he needs. He does! Nate draws what he needs! Haishin second is down. Meanwhile, I don't know who Wizard of Oz is fighting, but whoever it is, he just got swords done. Definitely not good for Wizard of Oz. It's gonna give Nate some time.
Oh, dude, double swords? Oh, shit. Oh, there's the ultimate killer.
He's on Neku? Okay. So Wizard of Oz got swords twice on Neku, which means he needs to sit there for 6 turns total, which is not good for Wizard of Oz because that gave Nate the chance to get past Neku, go on to Haishin, and pretty much have Haishin beaten now.
And plus, I got another Dark Energy in there, which will help with Skull Knight and Dark Magicians, in case I should need to use them. On to the next fight.
And thanks again to everybody who's been following throughout this this commentary. I've gained a lot of followers so far. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's followed the channel from here. Especially if if this is your first time watching me, I hope you've been enjoying the commentary. I've certainly been enjoying doing the commentary quite a bit. This is a lot of fun for me, and let's hope to God that one of these non-farming boys can pull out a nice hot W here.
Can't get too greedy though, yeah. There's nothing. Oh, BJ. Okay, well that's going in for sure.
Nothing like hearing Nate saying, "Ooh, BJ." We are going to make a baguette emote, and Arius will pay for it!
Yeah, it's true. That or Sword of Dark Destruction works on Skull Knight. That's an ultimate.
And Nate gets ultimated, not what you want to see in this situation here. See if he can do anything about it. He does have that Regeki. I didn't even see that in his first hand. He's going to choose to not use it just yet. A little bit risky, but probably the right move considering he has nothing else in his hand. He does have that Yami in there, though, which is interesting. Let's see what happens here. It's another monster, not what Nate wants to see right now. It is an MBD, though, so that gives him a little bit of hope. Nate is going to Regeki here, and what needs to happen is a monster with less than 3,500 attack needs to be played, and Nate needs to be able to kill it. Nate cannot kill anything above 2,800 right now. Nate needs to pray that something under MBD is played. It's a moon. It's probably, yep, a black skull. Nate needs the 1-card draw and equip right here. He does not do it. I was getting ready to become ape, but I cannot become ape. Now, Nate still does have a path to victory here, though it would be a very difficult path to victory. He will need Seto to play a magic right here.
That's it's gotta be.
It needs to be a wall. Defense.
No,
It is not. Bad news. Nate loses to Seto third. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz is now moving on to Seto third.
That is such a shame. I had 7 outs in the deck, and I didn't draw a single one.
Yeah, there will definitely be more tournaments after this one. Don't you worry about that. And I have another idea that isn't necessarily a tournament, but is still something really cool that I want to do at some point. Oh, Ryu lost his match? Damn, that's rough. Does that take him out of the playoffs? I think they're in the playoffs now or something like that. Does that eliminate him completely, or?
We're still not out of it though.
Am I thinking of something else?
I guess I should put another Dark Magician in for all-inclusive purposes.
Wizard of Oz getting ultimated against Seto third. Let's see what he draws. Wizard of Oz draws Dragon, Capture Jar, and Dark Hole. 2 different ways to get rid of ultimates.
I'll put it in next.
That Dark Hole will get rid of anything, not just ultimates as well. Ooh, this is looking good for Wizard of Oz right now. I can tell you that much. Umi might be the right play here. I think Umi is the right play. I think it is, in this one time. He does not play it. He decides that he will draw 1 more equip if he needs to. I didn't see if that was a magic or trap. If it was a trap, he should just attack now.
Another launcher spider start. I've gotten 3 of those tonight.
He doesn't, which actually, now that I think about it, he does have the Dark Hole, so it doesn't matter too much. It's a moon, it's a Gate Guardian. That Umi's probably looking pretty sexy right now in your graveyard.
Yeah, this isn't as pal. That'd be bonkers if we see a Metal Zilla drop. Yeah, I was thinking the
Oz plays Dark Hole, let's see. It's another magic or trap. It's a magic this time. Wizard of Oz still cannot kill a Gate Guardian or MBD, which is what's likely to be played next, but if Seto decides to go down to a 3,300, then it will be looking good for him, but if Seto decides to go below 2,800, it could spell trouble for Wizard of Oz, surprisingly, if a Dragon Champion or something is played. It's a Sun, it's a regular Blue Eyes. That is exactly what Wizard of Oz wants to see right now. And he has the twin-headed. He's going to opt to throw the Umi yet again. Now, every turn after this is a risk for Wizard of Oz right now. Mainly because as soon as that Blue Eyes is dead, if... Oh, he's deciding to not kill the Blue Eyes. Okay, so he's playing this a bit safer.
Yeah, it's an 8. I figured it was.
Yes, okay, so a second Blue Eyes was played. He's playing this a little bit safer. So what Wizard of Oz is going to do now is he's going to win slowly but surely, but if an MBD Gate Guardian or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is played at any time, his dreams are going to come crushing down. If I were Wizard of Oz, I'd probably equip that twin-headed 1 more time while I have the chance. AKA right now, use the Dragon Treasure on the twin-headed on the field. He's opting not to do it, and honest to God, I think that is a big misplay on Wizard of Oz's side, because now there's 3 cards that can end what he's doing right now. If he equips that twin-headed, he removes 2 more possible cards. Okay, now he has no choice but to put it all on there, because he'll be able to kill an ultimate if he does. There's nothing to think about here. Dragon Treasure, Megamorph onto that twin-headed. There's legitimately nothing to think about here. He's not doing it. That is a giant misplay right now. Wizard of Oz is making very, very, very large mistakes right now. And if an ultimate or something is played, then no one to blame but himself. Wizard of Oz could have confirmed his win last turn. He chose not to. It seems like he doesn't know that that's the right play. No, he does not know. Wizard of Oz could have had this duel absolutely secured. Every single turn, Wizard of Oz makes the same mistake. He risks losing this duel. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon played against Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz almost definitely loses against Seto Third due to his own mistake. That is a lot of pain for Wizard of Oz.
That was a horrible draw. Got bought by Ultimate. Oof. Gate Guardian mode? Yep. Wow, what a draw.
I'm not sure what he was thinking. It's sad, though.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, and Wizard of Oz takes the loss to Seto Third, where it could have been a win.
In this case, would have secured him the win.
Mistakes do happen.
He made a misplay.
In this case, I wouldn't even call it necessarily a misplay or a mistake. It's just making, I guess, the wrong decision. It's not like Wizard of Oz didn't see that he could make a 4800. For some reason, Wizard of Oz saw that he could make a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon Killer, but he chose not to. He might have, for whatever reason, he thought that was the wrong move, when in reality it was the right move. So for this one, I'm gonna chalk that up to just a lack of
critical mistake.
I guess just a lack of knowledge of the game for that mistake. It's not like he just accidentally didn't do it. It was very intentional.
Exactly. I made that mistake a couple times when I first started.
Definitely a baffling error, especially considering Wizard of Oz seems like he's pretty damn good at the game. For the most part, I don't really see Wizard of Oz making any mistakes generally, so making such a huge mistake like that, not just once but for multiple turns, is definitely very puzzling. Because like I said, he seems like he's very, seems like he can really handle himself in this game, seems very knowledgeable about it, but then makes a rookie mistake like that. It's very interesting. And, I mean, that's something that he'll definitely, he definitely won't do again on accident.
Yeah, it was like one of the few.
So, at the very worst, he learned something.
That's a pretty unlucky draw.
And that's all you can really hope for in these races, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess
Now, BadNewsNate
Dark Magician into...
can make a 3,500 Dark Magician here.
You know what? I'm gonna go for it.
He's gonna go for the Dark Magician strats and pray to God he draws another equip.
This is a risky play.
All he needs is one more equip to kill any card in the game. What's gonna happen here? It's a Sun. It's an ultimate. I think he might have made the right play. This is his only chance to kill it. Let's see. He draws it! BadNewsNate draws the Blue Eyes Ultimate Matcher. It does not kill Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, but it matches it and it kills every other card, which means BadNewsNate will win against Seto Third. As long as BadNewsNate does not make a mistake, BadNewsNate will win this duel.
I'm gonna hold on. And you know what? No. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna hold on to it.
This is huge for Nate right now. If he wins this duel with that MBD in his deck, it makes his odds on the next two duels much higher than they used to be. So we could be witnessing the end of the match right here. But like I said, Nate cannot lose this duel unless Nate makes a mistake. There is no way that he can lose unless he makes a misplay. And Nate does not make misplays from what I've seen.
Chip damage, yep. Little by little. He has no equips. D-skull mode.
So Nate's only option right now, since he knows he has the win in the bag, is to just continue to chip away at Seto Third's life points. At this point in the time, there is nothing that can kill Nate.
2 magics.
However, he cannot kill that Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Even if Nate has the chance to kill it, for the most part, he won't be able to. This is very good for Nate right here. This is going to help speed up the duel significantly. But putting that MBD out now means that he can't magic lock with that Dark Magician, which was 2,500, which would have meant that anything, even regular Blue Eyes could be magic locked from that regular Dark Magician. Now, it's only going to be Gate Guardian and Ultimate, so he really has to keep that Ultimate alive now, or he needs to win in a single turn. And I think it was a magic that was played, which means Nate can win right now.
We're on to the next duel.
Nate is, just like he said, on to the next duel.
Make some Craigasms in chat. That black pendant came in clutch.
I like how there's Craigasms not just in his chat, but in mine
Not
too.
normally an equip you see me use in that kind of situation, but it worked. The Galaxy Brain plays, man. Oops. Nah, not getting greedy. Nothing there.
Alright, Nate, moving on to Dark Knight. Let's see how this goes. Meanwhile, looking good for Wizard of Oz against Haishin, yeah.
My goodness.
And bad news, Nate, not going to have a slow Dark Knight duel this time. He has the insta-win against anyone in the game, actually. I think Nate would really like to see this draw on the next duel. Because if he draws that on the next duel, Nate will instantaneously win this match.
MBD start, nice.
So Nate beats Dark Knight, moving on to Nightmare with an MBD in the deck that was not there before. This could be it, ladies and gents. Let's fucking hope so, because my pizza's already lukewarm, room temperature, and at this point,
Alright,
it's
last
just gonna
fight.
get colder.
This is an APAL.
Nate getting the dream duel against Dark Knight, but I think Nate would have gladly traded that draw to the next duel rather than have it on this one. But he'll take what he can get, and now we just have to pray that Nate gets that draw on the next duel too.
Nothing. You know what?
No interesting drops. Nate starting Nightmare. Here we go, boys.
Come on, please.
We need to see a good draw and no ultimates. Nate with the 5 monster draw. None of them are MBD. Definitely not what you want to see on Nightmare.
That is a terrible opening hand.
Very bad opening hand. Not what you want to see. Let's see what Nightmare plays. Hopefully no ultimate this time.
MBD.
It is an MBD start. That is very good for Nate. He just needs to draw something to kill it. He draws his MBD! Nate draws MBD! Nate is able to match the MBD against Nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. Is he gonna save the Yami? He's gonna save the Yami. All Nate needs to draw right now is 2 Dragon Treasures or a Megamorph, and Nate will instantaneously win not just this duel, but the match. We need no Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon right here. It's a Pluto in defense! What does Nate draw? He doesn't draw he does not draw the Megamorph, but that's okay. Nate is at least going to be able to get rid of that Pluto in defense. All Nate needs now is no Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon played against him for the next few turns until he draws that Megamorph. The moment you see that Megamorph in Nate's hand is the moment this match is over. No ultimate. We need no ultimate. It is a Neptune! That is absolutely incredible to happen against this duelist. Let's see what he draws. He draws the Beast Fangs, which isn't necessarily what he wants, but it's better than nothing. He can at least get a little bit of damage done now while he waits for that Megamorph. Nate is praying that there is no Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon right here. No Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. If it's played, Nate almost definitely loses. It is not a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, ladies and gentlemen. All Nate needs is that Megamorph and it's over. No Megamorph yet. No Megamorph just yet, but he can kill the MBD. He can kill the MBD.
All right, we're gonna do the right thing
Wait.
here. We're gonna hold Skull Knight and Black.
Ooh, Nate is going for a different strategy. Instead of just trying to win as quickly as possible, Nate is trying to set up a way to kill the ultimate in case it happens.
2 Dark Energies or a Megamorph wins it.
Let's see what happens. It's a moon. He's still going.
Down to Red Eyes.
If a Megamorph is there, 2 Dark Energies, Nate wins. Nothing yet. He can play the Dragon... No, he can keep the Dragon Capture Jar. Equip the Skull Knight. He's gonna play the Dragon Capture Jar anyway. I don't know why Nate just wouldn't equip the Skull Knight, put it in Neptune, and kill the MBD with that. But he's gonna do the Dragon Capture Jar and just try to go for the quick win. Nate is putting everything on this right now, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is on this not being an ultimate. Let's see. It's not an ultimate. What will he draw? He draws the Regeki. That confirms the win for Bad News Nate. Ladies and gentlemen, this match is over. The winner, Bad News Nate.
I win no matter what. We are on to the quarterfinals. Nice top deck medal, Zoa.
Bad News Nate taking the win, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on
Yes.
in the tournament.
Finally, this fucking run is done and over with. And we are on to the quarterfinals.
Nate is correct. Nate has moved on to the quarterfinals, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Bad News Nate in the chat. Give it up for Wizard of Oz for putting up a damn good fight as well. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you see here, go give Bad News Nate and Wizard of Oz a follow. They are both very talented speedrunners of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. And if you like watching these restreams and commentaries, then don't forget to follow me as well, because I am not done commentating these matches. There are still plenty of matches to go in this tournament. It is not over yet. Nate has not won the tournament yet. There is still lots to go, and I plan on putting it all on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, so be sure to follow me, Bad News Nate, and Wizard of Oz for more Forbidden Memories content. That was by far one of the closest races so far in this tournament.
That is insane.
And I can say without question that this was the most insane tournament match thus far in the tournament.
Man is the next one.
Unbelievable match by these two people.
And also GG Oz, you put up a valiant effort, man. That was one hell of a fight.
Whew.
That's fucking hype, dude.
But big GG's to Nate on that win. It was hard fought.
3.5 hours, this shit show is finally over.
Wizard of Oz put up one hell of a good fight.
Save.
Nate manages to pull it out, taking risk after risk, paying off for Nate, making damn good plays in the process. All in all, a very good win for Nate. Very good win for Nate.
Guess we close out SRL now. That was a fantastic match.
I agree with Nate. One of the best matches I have seen thus far.
Aidas or AITAS? I don't know how it's pronounced, but thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. I guess I'll check Discord real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that match being done, that's going to be it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you guys so much.
Not only my commentary, but the wonderful gameplay of BadNewsNate and the wonderful gameplay of Wizard of Oz. It has been a great match. I've enjoyed myself greatly. I hope you've all enjoyed it too. Keep an eye out on my YouTube channel to see this entire match and all of the commentary uploaded as a YouTube video that will be happening very soon within the next 24 hours. So if you did not catch all of it here today, then be sure to go check me out at YouTube and watch the video after the fact. Just search GFC_ on YouTube and you'll find it. Thank you all so much for watching. Go watch Ryukar. He's one of my favorite Mario Maker streamers, if not my favorite Mario Maker streamer and content creator on YouTube. He is streaming on Twitch right now, so go watch him. That's where I'm going to be while I eat my pizza. And I will see you guys next time. Take care. GFC signing off. Bye-bye.